Buddy, it is Seawell back here with another reaction video. It's the first race reaction of 2023, and tonight, me and Mike are going to be watching the 1984 NASCAR race at Pocono, and I've never seen this race, so I'm very excited. Pocono is one of my favorite tracks, the Tricky Triangle, and let's welcome Mike in. How are you doing, Mike?
I'm doing well. I'm very excited to watch this race, considering that both of us have never watched this race before.
Fact show, and it's the 80s, so I'm sure it's going to be crazy. Let's go ahead and get right into it.
Alrighty.
It is sunny and hot in the Pocono Mountains. 93 degrees, winds from the southwest at 10 miles an hour.
93 degrees.
It's a hot race, man.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Bob
That
Jenkins,
sky does not look
Larry
pretty.
Miller. Welcome to Pocono International Raceway.
Bob Jenkins looks so much different now.
1971, and it is a unique.
He's wearing like these 80s hipster glasses. I mean, don't get me wrong, I already knew it was the 80s, but man, look at this guy.
I want to tell you, it's an exciting racetrack.
Both these two were great analysts and commentators.
Interrupted by three 90-degree turns, and it is tricky.
There's an interesting story on the front row for today's race. Let's go to Dick Berggren, the editor of Stock Car Racing Magazine, and also our pit reporter for today. Dick?
The man that put the Johnston Hodgdon number 12 on pole isn't in it. The driver, regular driver, Neil Bonnet, is. Bonnet injured his wrist several weeks ago at Martinsville, Virginia, and his doctors say it's not healing properly. He's got to cut down, if not cut out entirely, this stock car rating stuff. Bonnet, however, wants to win the Winston Cup Championship, and the driver who starts the race gets points towards that championship. So what's going to happen here is Bonnet's going to run the car until the first yellow flag. And then he's going to jump out, and David Pearson is going to jump back into the thing and finish the race. Back to you, Bob.
So settle back with us and enjoy an afternoon of auto racing. We'll be back with the starting lineup.
I'm going to mute right there because there's probably copyright music.
Pocono International Raceway, where the cars are lined up on pit road.
Man, that looks really cool. I like that view.
2.5-mile oval. We go down to the start-finish line, and Tommy Van Scoy for those famous words.
Start your engines.
Straight to the point.
I don't even think he said gentlemen. He said start your engines unless they cut it out.
Stock cars roar to life as we get set for this 500-miler, 200.
And as tradition, we'll do our race pick during the starting lineup.
The starting lineup for
here we come.
Race here at Pocono International Raceway. David Pearson was the fastest qualifier,
wow.
150.921, but he won't be the guy who starts the car. It'll be Neil Bonnet from
wow, so Pearson's going to be in the 12th car. Huh. Lake Speed. Wow.
Jackson, Mississippi, Lake Speed in the Bullfrog Net Chevy. In row number 2,
Harry
car 33, Harry Gant from Taylorsville, North Carolina in the Skoal Bandit Chevy. Outside of row number 2,
DW.
Waltrip in car number 11 in the Budweiser Chevy.
Yeah, DW was really good at Pocono. He ended up winning the championship that year.
Oh, nice. Bill Elliott.
He could have won the championship in '85, but just missed it.
In the 4th row, the king of Grand National Racing.
Richard Petty's last win was at Daytona in '84.
Richard Petty in the STP Pontiac. Outside
Nail!
Nail! In the Wrangler Jean Chevy, car number 3. In row number 5,
and there's good old Benny.
Car number 55 in the Copenhagen Chevrolet. And outside of row number 5 will be car number 47.
Oh, look!
From Fitchburg, Massachusetts,
Bouchard.
the Race Hill Farms Jim Testa Chevy, Ron Bouchard. In the 6th row,
Ooh, Tim Richmond was really good at Pocono back then. I'm considering him, but we'll see.
Dale Yarborough.
Starting in 12th.
In the 7th row, on the inside,
Bobby Allison.
Hey, the GOAT, Bobby Allison.
So you still think he's the best driver in the 22?
Oh yeah, dude. If you think differently, you're delusional.
Oh, no way. It's Joey Logano. What are you talking about, dude?
Who has over 80 wins? Alright, that's what I thought.
For legal purposes, that's obviously a joke.
Definitely not. This was like the first year of Hendrick. He was for Hendrick. Buddy Baker's in the 21.
And Baker. Row number 9. And then Greg Sachs, Dave Marcus.
I didn't know Sterling Marlin drove the 95.
Row number 13,
Yeah.
Kyle Petty and
Trevor
Nick Brooks.
Boys
In the
and
14th
Doug
row,
Hebron.
Trevor
I've never
Boys
heard
and
of them.
Doug Hebron.
I've heard of
In the
boys.
15th row, Tommy Gale on 64,
Bart
DK
Dwyer,
number 6.
Tommy
The
Gale,
16th row,
DK
Clark
Early.
Dwyer,
I know who that is, DK.
the 17th
Hey,
row,
Ronnie
Tommy
Thomas,
Gale
let's go. That's my friend right there.
Bobby Daron,
78 Rookie of the Year. Let's go. I didn't know he was going to be in this race.
Bobby Waylock in 52. The 19th
Giacomo
row,
Giacomo. Oh, man. He ended up
Giacomo,
being in that Bobby
Bob
Allison
Wiley,
wreck in 88 at Pocono.
and Jim Southard in car number 50.
The career-ending wreck of Bobby Allison. Oh, and for those that don't know, the 500-mile races at Pocono back then were 200 laps. So I bet it definitely was really rough on these drivers. But my pick, I'm thinking either between Darrell Waltrip or Tim Richmond. I'm going to go with Darrell Waltrip winning this race. What about you?
I am between Rusty Wallace and Bobby Allison, but I think I'm going to go with Bobby Allison.
Great pick.
Benny Parsons, a driver of car
I
number
also
55.
think Richmond will do really well. I think he'll get a top 5.
Benny Parsons, can you
Didn't Dale Earnhardt have his wreck at Pocono where he flipped in turn 1? Was that either in 83 or 82? I don't remember which one it
I thought it
was.
was 82.
Yeah, I think it was 82.
flag drops.
First of all, is just trying to keep up with the traffic and see who the cars I'm going to have.
And while we're at it, how many cautions do you think there'll be?
I'm going to say 6.
I'm going to go 4.
Radio contract throughout the afternoon is Jeff Bodine.
Jeff Bodine will start on the outside of the 8th row. Jeff Bodine, this is Larry Newber up at the
We'll see what your opinion is on Pocono after this race and how much different it is. It is different. I watched a Pocono race from 86 before and 85. I think those were the summer 500s, and it was very entertaining.
Well, I doubt it will change because Pocono, I mean, I got mixed opinions on it. I thought the last couple of races there have not been bad, but it's not been a great track, in my opinion. But I'm very interested to see with these older year cars.
Olden year cars, you mean stock cars? Okay.
Well, I sound like a freaking medieval times guy.
No, you're good, man.
Go back to work. It's got to be warm in the cockpit. Everybody here in the grandstand, shirts.
Oh no, there's a flag canceled. Shit. Every time I see one of those flags there in an old race, I shout canceled. Just for the memes.
All right, the record was not broken here. The one-lap track record was set in 1983 by Darrell Waltrip, 152.315.
152 was the old track record there.
By David Pearson was 100.
I don't even think that's the track record now. I think, isn't it the track record for NASCAR there like 160 something? Or am I tripping?
Let me check.
We should be going green this lap.
The north straightaway, that is between turns 2 and 3. The pace car is still out on the track, leading them around. It is well ahead of the field now. They're
Yeah,
moving
the pace
into
car's
turn
coming
number
in.
3, which is a
I'm pretty sure.
6-degree bank turn. One of the longest and probably the slowest turn on the race course. Have to have the car set up just right through turn number 3 to come out onto the main straightaway.
179.598 by Joey Logano.
Huh. Oh, wow. That pace car just took a dead left. We're green. Let's go racing, boys. I've never seen a pace car take such a sharp turn to exit the track like that in a while.
Yeah.
Oh no, the video quality was shaky there. But Neil Bonnet jumping out to the lead.
We got a clear lead so far.
They're being led down by Neil Bonnet in car number 12. Right behind him is Speed in car number 1.
Speed trying to hold off Darrell Waltrip, I think, for second.
Now they go into second turn. That is what called the tunnel turn. There is a pedestrian tunnel.
Oh man, that's quality.
Is a bumpy turn. Now
It was pretty good earlier, but you know, these are cameras from back then, so anything can happen. Parsons just took third.
As they come off of turn number 3.
Oh, this can be a nice camera angle.
Ah, beautiful.
Oh, this is gonna be cool. You can see them, like, they're like a snake just drafting. Oh, here goes Petty to the inside. Waltrip's losing spots.
They still somewhat drive like this today, which is impressive, because not a lot of these tracks you see them drive the same way.
Lake Speed's actually battling the 12. It says Pearson on the screen, but in reality Bonnet's in the car, and then Bonnet's going to let Pearson in, I think, whenever a caution comes out.
2 and 3. Let's see if he can duplicate that again. There is turn number 2 over the pedestrian bridge. Tunnel
So this is
corner,
a decent points day for Bonnet so far. He's already led a lap, and he's going to get the points for starting the race.
Yep. Petty tried the outside there, just couldn't get the work. But Petty's moving up right now.
He's really good on this straightaway right here. Going into 1.
Oh, Gant's gonna bump speed by, or push speed by Bonnet here.
There you go.
Lake Speed to the lead.
Gant's coming now.
14 degrees of banking. Lake Speed has the lead with Harry Gant running in second position.
I wonder what lap they're gonna start lapping cars. My guess is probably 11, lap 11.
I'm going to say 15.
Of that car, number 12. We expect him to be replaced sometime during the day. The question is,
oh, here comes Gant. He has a really fast car, it looks like.
How does he Lake Speed lead a lap? Because he didn't lead many in his career compared to some of these other guys, so I want to see him hold them off. Come on, Speed.
Come on, Lake.
Harry Gant in car number 33 begins to put some heat on Lake Speed.
It looks like he will lead this lap.
Number 3 once again. This will complete lap number 3 at the Pocono 500, and Lake Speed is the leader.
This will be Lake Speed's first official leading lap in this race.
Up here he goes, slingshot.
The early pace setter Neil Bonnet has
Got 3 wide almost.
Harry Gant looks to the inside.
Bill Elliott's trying to move up.
Yep.
Neil Bonnet until after they cross the start.
Dude, if they had a photographer in that corner, that would be an amazing shot right there, what we just saw. That would have been an amazing shot. But I don't know if they had one there.
Lake Speed is really more aggressive than I expected.
Expect a lot of lead changes. Here we are only on lap number 4.
Mike, we're on lap 4 of 200. Hang in there, buddy.
Oh god, another sleeping joke. I took a nap before this, guys.
That's probably a wise idea, as Petty's now in 3rd. You know, probably the most amount of races I've watched in a row was probably 3 one time, and all those for about 3 hours, so I watched like 9 hours straight of racing one time, and it was fun, but after a while I started to fall asleep. I was just too tired. My eyes couldn't handle it. Petty just...
King Petty up to 2nd.
That was a veteran move.
Oh, of course.
Where's Allison at? I can't even see him. I don't think they had leaderboards like that back then, so we'll probably see like one pop up every once in a while. They won't be often.
Yeah, it'll probably be the same thing as Riverside.
Look at Petty.
Petty to the lead. Nice.
Richard Petty is the leader. We'll be back with more.
Right when he takes the... Oh, we got a wreck.
Yellow flag is being displayed over the racetrack. 2 cars
Shady
now come
McDuffie.
together in turn number 2, tunnel turn. The number 58 car is that of Jerry Bowman from Aberdeen, Maryland.
Yep, Jerry Bowman.
And outside the racetrack is the number 70, J.D. McDuffie, setting high on the track.
J.D., one of the veterans of
all the people without their shirts off, I don't blame them. It was a hot race. And now Bonnet could come in to get substitution here.
Well, will he come into the pits and be replaced by David Pearson? There is Pearson, ready to go. He has the helmet on, the goggles are
yep, here he comes.
Neil Bonnet is indeed coming into the pit area.
Look how fast he's going, too.
Possible drivers change here.
Yeah.
The others come down the straightaway. Here is Dick Berggren in the pit area.
Well, we've had a very anxious David Pearson here. He's been waiting.
David Pearson's driving part-time, then not many races, so...
But boy, he's coming out of this car like a rocket. You can see his right wrist is in a cast. David is now getting in the car.
I'm pretty sure Pearson didn't win after 83 or 80, so I don't think he won this race, obviously, but imagine that happened, like he just subbed in and he ended up winning the race. That'd be crazy.
Parsons is the driver. At At that time, it took them 40 seconds. They decided to wait until
Spartanburg, South Carolina. ESPN, get it right.
And they weren't absolutely positive that they could perform this miracle without
Dave Pearson. Sorry,
I
guys.
must say, even though David Pearson is a top 5 driver, this may sound kind of stupid, I don't see people talk about him as much. He was great.
Yeah, he was. Look at his percentages and stats. It is wild what he did.
Exactly. He's a top 5 driver, but I just don't ever hear about him compared to some of the other legends in the sport.
Well, on Facebook, I posted about Pearson a while back ago on Facebook. It was like weeks ago. A lot of people were actually saying my GOAT and the best driver ever in the comment sections. And you don't see that on Instagram. You only see it on Facebook where people say that.
Neil, it was a short race.
Well, you know,
Yeah, Pearson is definitely in my
this
top
wrist
5.
right here has really been giving me a lot of problem when I broke it, and the cast I've got on now is starting to crack a little bit already. So the logical thing to get out of there. I was hoping we'd have a caution about 100 miles in a race.
Look how many people are surrounding
him.
them.
For us up here qualifying. I know he did a good job for us.
What kind of shape is the racetrack in today, Neil?
It feels good. You know, I've done a lot of work on this particular track, and the thing feels awful good.
Neil Bonnet standing in the pits. He's going to be a spectator for the rest of the afternoon.
We'll talk more about how Neil
he drove
sustained
pretty
this
well
broken
with
wrist
that
and
injury.
the problems that it has given him after we pause for some more messages. We are at Pocono International Raceway in the Vanskoy.
Yeah, I'm not going to play that. Okay, so Darrell Walters 5th. They're still haven't showed top 10.
Oh, man, I just wanted to see where Bobby was.
Now Dale Earnhardt's in top 5 because Neil pitted to get subbed out for Pearson.
Third, Darrell Walter 4th, and Dale Earnhardt running in 5th position. As we indicated, it's a very unique racetrack, and Dick and Larry and I were able to go down onto the racing surface and examine it a little more closely.
The
Oh,
cars
it's a
rocket
segment
down the home
here.
straightaway, 7/10 of a mile long, drafting each other, trying to gain the advantage to enter turn 1. The object here is to be on the low side of the racetrack. That's the fast way to go
So
through
the
the
Jaguars
first
are
turn.
now
They
in
use
the
the brake
playoffs.
hard, entering the first
Huh.
turn. The guy on the inside is the one with the definite advantage.
Yeah, that's cool.
They run as close to the infield
Very
grass
cool.
as they possibly can.
I
This
mean,
turn is the tightest
it's all right
radius
with me,
turn of
but
all 3 at Pocono. It's also the most steeply
I
banked
mean,
at
for them
14 degrees.
to be as bad as they have the last couple of years and add the rebuild, that's pretty impressive. But I don't think
It's
they'll
in this very
advance far.
turn that Johnny Rutherford dismembered an
I
Indianapolis
think they have the
car.
potential
It's
maybe
in
win
this
one
same
game,
turn that
but
Dale
other
Earnhardt
than
took a
that,
terrible
no,
end-over-end
but
side
still
over
cool to
side
see them in the
flip
playoffs. I
in his
think they got a
Grand
bright
National
future.
car. As they exit the first turn,
Yeah.
they head out wide toward the wall to go down the back straightaway and to Bob Jenkins.
Dick, that straightaway you referred to is a little over 3,000 feet in length. It's called the Long Pond Straightaway. At the end of it, it's hard on the brakes into turn number 2. Turn number 2 is also called the tunnel turn. For good reason, there's a tunnel under it. And that has given the drivers many, many problems. The pavement here has not settled
I'm sorry,
well.
that was so
And because
goofy.
of that, there are a series of
Yeah,
bumps to the
that
very
was
inside
pretty
of the
good.
racetrack. The drivers used to get the left side of the car off of the track onto the grass, but not anymore. The bumps are too severe. The banking here is only 8 degrees, so it's a relatively flat turn. Off of turn number 2, they go on to another straightaway, the North Straightaway, and into turn number 3, and for that, here is Larry Nuber.
And it comes up fast. You've just saved your life coming out of turn number 2 up along the wall, and turn number 3 pops up suddenly. Again, you brake hard, you steer the car hard to the left. You go down to the bottom of the racetrack. You can see here that a lot of the drivers have actually been in the grass. You can get away with that in turn number 3. Now, as you look at the corner, you might think it's an easy turn. It has an 800-foot radius and looks like it's a nice, easy arc all the way around. But it's only banked 6 degrees. If turn number 2 looks flat, imagine what this thing looks like to the driver approaching at well over 100 miles per hour. The importance of this corner is...
And then the straightaway you hit like one... Back then in those cars, they probably hit about 180-ish on the front.
Right.
In the 90s, they would hit about 200, or late 80s, they would hit about 190 around then. But over the years, they've gone to over 200 into turn 1 a couple times.
We are back with the pace car still on the race.
Why is it? It must be a long caution period or cleanup. Darrell Waltrip's pitting.
They will get the green in one more lap. Darrell Waltrip is into the pit.
This is a surprise.
His teammate came in a few minutes ago, and his teammate was replaced.
That's 3 wins that year, and Waltrip won the championship in '81 and 82.
Just changed the outside tires on Waltrip's car. They've
Waltrip won in 85 also.
On the right side, that usually is an indication of a chassis problem of some sort. Now they're in the process of changing the left side tires. They've got the left rear on the left front with the
There's a couple other cars on pit road too. Just couldn't tell who they were.
When he goes out, he is going to be on the absolute tail end of the field. That will probably not be a serious disadvantage, however, this early in the race.
Larry, several drivers came in for pit stops during this yellow.
Listen to this list. Ricky Rudd, Tim Richmond twice, Dave Marcus, Jeff Bodine,
Oh,
Ronnie Thomas,
Tim
Clark
Richmond
Dwyer,
twice.
Buddy Arrington, Tommy Gale, D.K. Ulrich, Bobby Gerhardt Jr., Ron Bouchard, and Waltrip, whom you just saw. Kind of a surprise to see so many pit stops early in the race. This was a longer yellow, I think, than most people anticipated.
We want to see some full
David
wide
Pearson in
racing.
car number
Where's the
12
green?
is at the rear of the field now. He has a lot of catching up to do. He was the fastest qualifier in this race, put the car on the pole, but it was started by Neil Bonnet. And the reason that they did that is because Neil Bonnet will get the points. That is all important to him in going after the Winston Cup.
Well, Jeff Bodine had dropped back considerably when we were green for 3 laps, and then he pitted. Jeff, this is Larry Newber up at ESPN's booth. Can you read us?
Yeah, Larry.
Jeff, you have a problem out there. We noticed you dropped back significantly, and then you pitted.
Well, our car was a little tight, Larry, so we came in and changed tires and took a little wedge out of it. Hopefully we'll be all right when this race gets going a while.
Jeff, was there much debris?
I think we're about to go green here.
Yeah, there's a lot of speedy dry over there right now, Larry.
Jeff,
Oh,
green, go back to
okay.
work.
Neil comes out of turn number 3 now.
Oh, here we go.
And Kyle restart
Pace
too.
begins to pick up as
Yep.
Richard Petty leads them
But
now.
Dale Earnhardt got to jump on the outside there.
Straightaways, but it's one of the widest straightaways that the Grand National drivers compete on, and so it's 4, 5,
One thing I
even
like about
6
Pocono is on the restarts how they go like 4, 3 wide, 5 wide at times, and just them charging in turn 1. So cool.
Heading into turn
Yeah, I
number 1,
agree.
Gary Gant still in second position with Blake Speed in third. Fourth place now belongs to Dale Earnhardt in car number 3, and Terry Labonte.
Benny Parsons is going to catch Petty here, maybe.
Bob, you know,
He's all up on him.
Cars are among the most versatile race cars in the entire world. They run on 2.5-mile ovals like this. They can't call them oval triangles like this. They run on super speedways. Harry Gant really out of throttle that.
Gant's losing a little ground.
Approaching the tunnel turn. The Grand National stock cars also run on short tracks. The short is a third.
Oh, I thought that was Parsons in second. Is it
Oh,
Gant?
really? I must have made a mistake. My fault.
No, I'm just confused. I couldn't tell for a second.
Longer than the entire oval. That is an oval at North Wilkesboro.
Off of turn number 3 once again. This will complete lap number 12.
No, that's Gant.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
It is Richard Petty, Harry Gant, Blake Speed, Terry
Yeah, for some reason I thought it was Benny because the cars look very similar. Here comes Terry Labonte with help from Earnhardt underneath Speed.
nicely.
Bobby Allison's in the top 6.
Come on, Bobby.
We have a long ways to go, Bob, and as you indicated a little earlier, you and Dick, I think, both made comment that just because you pit and perhaps come out at the tail of the line at this juncture of the race, it doesn't really put you in a big deficit. Not at all. The laps go by here slowly compared to most of the racetracks the Grand National cars race on. It's a full minute plus to go all the way around here. We've got a long
Yeah,
ways to
full
go.
minute plus
Right now,
back
a lot of
then.
the
Yeah.
drivers are trying to figure out exactly what they have sitting underneath them. You know, you can practice all week long, but these race cars, the fickle that they are, they're going to be different every single time you get into them, certainly every single day. So right now the driver, they've set up a pretty nice rhythm.
It would be cool to see the wing cars race at Pocono in real life. Like, yeah, in real life or at any point in NASCAR history. That'd been cool if they raced at Pocono with them, but they didn't go to Pocono until 71.
Right.
Harry Gant started this race in third spot, led briefly, now is content, at least for the time being, to settle back behind Richard Petty.
Pocono was also a very dangerous track back then, too, and it has been dangerous. I mean, it is dangerous, but back then it was really dangerous for NASCAR. For NASCAR, open wheels, it was dangerous for most of its history.
Yesterday afternoon, they thought
Yeah,
absolutely
you're right.
everything was all set. They relaxed, they were comfortable, the car was 100% ready. This morning they came in and they discovered a leaking seal in the rear end. They had to pull the rear end out of the car in the garage area.
He's looking for a run around Petty, just can't get by him.
Put another one in. Then they fired the engine up and discovered
Petty
that
has
they
the
had
fastest
ignition
car right
problem.
now.
Replaced the whole ignition system. To make matters worse, there was a minor collision in the garage area in which Harry Gant and Dale Earnhardt backed into each other. Fickle, indeed, these cars are.
You're good.
Down to complete lap number 13. It's Petty.
Oh, he thought about it.
Terry Labonte now third with Dale Earnhardt running fourth. We'll be back with more of the Diamond Mines 500.
Kel Yarborough's up to 5th. Oh.
Leader, Harry Gant.
Harry Gant's in the lead.
That ain't
Coming down the straightaway. Harry Gant moves back into the lead. Petty
Blake's-
back in
He just
second
need his
place.
pass,
Terry
though.
Labonte,
Yeah.
who
Terry
was the most
Labonte's in
recent
3rd
winner
now,
on the
and I don't know what happened to
Trail
speed. He
at
fell out of top
Riverside,
5.
California is running in 3rd. But looks like Harry got a little out of shape there, coming off turn number 2 down the north straightaway.
Here
But he
comes
hung
Richard.
on, and
The
running
king.
in 4th position here is Dale Earnhardt. The first 4 cars running right together on the racetrack. Now Petty moving right up on the back bumper of Harry Gant off of turn number 3 onto the straightaway. We'll see if
He's
Richard
gonna make
Petty
a
makes the move
shotgun here.
Harry Gant is
Oh, he's
moving
trying
to
to
the
break the
inside,
draft, I
trying to
think.
break the draft. Drafting very important here. Now
Oh, Terry's gonna get
by
Petty.
Richard Petty moving into turn
No.
number 1, and Terry Labonte
Yes.
moves into 2nd position. We are live at Pocono International Raceway, and not only are we live, but we're live and in stereo for the first time on an auto race, and we hope you're
In
enjoying
stereo?
it and you're able
Huh.
to receive it.
Great action up front. There's Earnhardt just
Here comes
making his
Labonte,
presence known
I
right
mean.
behind that trio.
Labonte's
Here
making
comes
some nice
Labonte,
passes
moves
right
forward
now.
for the first time. Petty drafting
Petty right with him.
inside, follows through. Labonte becomes
Oh,
leader of this
Earnhardt,
race for
he
the first time today.
got a good run. Oh, Gant's
Now,
loose
Dale
again.
Earnhardt moving
Gant
alongside
has a
Harry
very
Gant,
loose
and
car.
Dale Earnhardt moves into 3rd.
He can't
Dale
run the outside
Yarborough
lane very well, and
also
he's
behind
passed
Harry
by
Gant, and so
Yarborough, too.
Harry Gant was in 1st just a few seconds ago, and now
That's
finds
crazy.
himself in 5th position. Good
One mistake and it'll drop you back.
Turn. Once again, it's Labonte, Earnhardt, and Petty. Then
Oh,
Cale
here comes
Yarborough
Yarborough
and
coming to
Harry
help
Gant.
Earnhardt, it looks like.
Yarborough low on the racetrack.
No.
3 wide, actually.
Into turn
Look at
number
this.
1. We'll
This
see
is
how
really
they
cool.
Move out of this straightaway and into
This
the
is
turn.
so far. This is the
Yarborough
best
is on the
Pocono race
inside.
I've watched.
He's now 2nd, followed by Dale Earnhardt.
Here
and then
comes
Richard
Dale.
Petty. But the leader
He's
of the
got
race,
a nose almost underneath
Terry
him.
Labonte is now being able to put some distance between himself and 2nd place, Cale Yarborough.
Well, Bob, you saw an example of how when 2 cars are running side by side, and obviously it shows up more on the bank track, how much you lose the momentum. It gave Labonte a chance to streak away, but on this racetrack, as Darrell Waltrip and Bobby Allison both told you and me yesterday, you just work very hard to get a little bit of an advantage because the cars vary so much all the way around. You think you've jumped out to a substantial lead, and all of a sudden you look in the mirror and they pop back up with you again. On the end of that pack, the number 33 car of Harry Gant, he'd like to perform well here today.
I wish they had more of a leaderboard so you know where everyone else is. Oh, they're about to catch somebody. So this is like lap 16, so you're basically right on when they start lapping people.
Right. And just for the record, I have not watched this race before.
Yep, neither of us have. And for those watching right now, thank you for tuning in. Make
See how
sure,
many people we got on stream.
if you're watching this on YouTube, of course, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to your boy. And of course, go follow Mike and I in the description below. We have our social medias down there. Oh, Trevor Boyd's on pit road. Wow, that one car's so slow compared to everyone else. Here comes Dale.
Dale Earnhardt moving alongside Cale Yarborough, challenging for 2nd down the north straightaway into
Dale.
turn number 3. Dale Earnhardt picks up the 2nd position as Terry Labonte continues to lead. Richard Petty now 4th, Cale Yarborough 3rd, and Harry Gant trailing this 5.
Now he's going for the lead.
Down the straightaway, Earnhardt moving alongside Labonte, and Earnhardt will be
Dale Earnhardt to the lead.
on lap number 19.
Oh,
Cale.
no, Yarborough and Petty going with him.
3 wide for the lead. Cale Yarborough got it.
Oh, careful, Yarborough. Big pass.
Here goes Dale right back at him. Look at it. This is fantastic. And now Allison's up there in the top 5, battling for 5th with Gant. The drafting, you could just tell how much the draft helps on the straights. They're not even bumping, they're just drafting with air. Oh, he got loose. They're battling like it's lap 180.
With Earnhardt running 2nd, Terry Labonte is 3rd, Richard Petty is 4th.
reinforced and a cost on the straightaway. We started to make the comment going into the first turn, the last lap, that if you're a modified fan, you're going to be very happy to hear that Greg Sachs is running in 11th position, perhaps the highest he has been quite some time in a Grand National Stock Car race. Greg started in 19th position, qualifying at almost 148 miles an hour. That was just 2 miles an hour off the pole-setting pace that David Pearson set, and Greg Sachs has moved to 11th. There, of course, the Hardee's man himself, Cale Yarborough. Cale Yarborough
It's late recording, so it's fine.
Who is apparently experiencing some kind of problem here as he has dropped back significantly. Off of turn number 3 once again, Dale Earnhardt now has the lead, with Cale Yarborough running second and Terry Labonte third. They come down and complete lap number 20.
Dale goes to the lead again, and Yarborough's trying to get another run on.
David Pearson. Into turn number 1 once again. Earnhardt now beginning to stretch out the lead just a bit.
There is Tommy Gale in the bright orange number 64. Tommy, of course, one of the stalwarts on the Grand National Stock Car Trail. And the number 74 from Norwalk, Connecticut is Bob Riley, who is showing up here to race at Pocono this weekend. Somebody who hopes to do well enough.
Yeah, they're about to get lapped. But I'm glad they're giving attention to some of the guys that aren't in the front, you know?
Right. Right, you don't really see that as much today. They just don't really know where to put the cameras.
Well, I wouldn't say that. It's just they just choose not to.
They put it in like random places, though.
Well, they have cameras all around the track, but back then they had cameras in certain positions.
No, it's like, no, I like the camera placement better in this decade. I don't know, I just feel like this year's generation kind of harps on things too much.
Yeah, I do agree with you on that.
I guess that's more what I'm trying to get at. Like, they find the storyline and harp on it for like 3 weeks, compared to like this is just showing the real authentic racing.
Yeah, for sure. That's one thing I liked about some of the old broadcasts, especially ESPN ones. You know, I really like that they had more attention to detail. The camera angles, like accessing the corners, were better. The turn 1 cameras were way better. I mean, that's the camera angles. I wouldn't say the camera quality, but I mean, camera quality back then is pretty decent compared to some of them I've seen around this year. 84 and 83, there's some races I've seen on YouTube where quality was awful, but that was because of the recording and all that, and it was probably VHS, probably, I don't know.
It would be cool to see ESPN come back. I know NASCAR is going to have a new TV deal next year, which is crazy to think about. But I don't know if they're going to come back. I know ESPN covers NASCAR a tiny bit. They don't cover it as much as they used to, but
yeah,
they have covered some storylines. And I'm sure NASCAR is unhappy with NBC for reasons that we probably all know.
Well, the NBC broadcasts have been better than Fox. By a mile.
Yeah.
By a mile, I agree.
Yeah, but I guess if, you know, they're going to rob them like that, then...
But one thing you got to think about, when they do that, they also kick up some rocks and dust onto the racetrack, and that could...
Levi Garrett sponsored car. I knew Levi Garrett was starting to become a sponsor around the end of the 80s. I just didn't know which year. Apparently, that's the first Levi Garrett car I've seen from 84. Any race I've seen 84 before. So, I remember when Dale won in 84. I know he won at least 1 or 2 races that year. Don't remember which races.
I would look it up, but if he won this race, I don't want to spoil it.
And then it'd be rigged. Just ends the stream, finds out it's instant.
That's all, folks.
But as you can tell, the leaders are starting to become more separated.
Yeah. They've been doing this for like 2-3 laps.
Is that Darrell Walsh I saw back there? If that's the case, he's gained like 20-some spots in about 10 laps.
Terry and Richard have been going at it now for a couple of laps. Terry did have third, then Richard got it back, and now Terry has moved around on the front stretch, and Terry Labonte now back in third place. The speed they achieve here right around 160-some miles an hour at the fastest portion of the racetrack, but it is a track that you have to get on the brakes and have to get on them pretty hard for each of the three corners. The interval between first and second position, 27 laps have been completed. The leaders on lap number 28, Earnhardt, followed by Cale Yarborough. Yarborough, of course, the winner of the Daytona 500 earlier this year, and he also won at Talladega. So Cale Yarborough has 2 victories to his credit.
Cale Yarborough, I'm pretty sure, won the 84 Daytona 500. Here comes Allison. He's trying to get a run on Gant here. But why is he waiting so long to slingshot? I guess he just felt like he didn't have the chance there. Thought he had a good enough run. There's Bill Elliott right behind him. I think that's leg speed behind Elliott.
Now down another 3,000-foot backstretch and into that very careful turn number 2. We'll call it careful because that's what you have to be. The drivers would like to come right down and touch the grass right there as they go over the tunnel, but there are some bumps there that used to allow you to go into that corner and maybe touch the grass.
I wonder how much it costs to have a camp, like, to set up your camper in the infield back then compared to now. Now I know it's a lot more, but I wonder how much it was then.
Wouldn't surprise me if it was like 30, 40 bucks.
No, I think it's more than that. I would say probably 60, 70.
60?
Nowadays it costs a lot more than that, like probably triple.
Yeah, I think like 300 bucks from the last time I checked, 400?
Just depends on the track. Pocono is probably not that much because it's such a big track.
In 1971, the track opened for an
I don't feel like Daytona, it was like 200, maybe 3.
Well, Daytona and Talladega are 2 of the most popular tracks, so I think they would up the expense.
No, of course, I was just thinking what it was.
Yeah.
This will be the 3rd year they started.
And that's a good guess for sure. I don't even know, so I'd have to look that up.
If anybody has ever, I'm sure this is going to be hard to find, but if anybody has ever camped out at a racetrack, it doesn't have to be Pocono, comment down below how much you spent, whether it be in the 80s or if it's recent, comment down below how much you spent. I'm curious.
Yeah, it's actually. About for the lead here between Dale and Cale.
We are delighted to have with us in the broadcast booth a man who is a regular on ESPN Speed Week every Thursday night at 7:30 Eastern Time, and without doubt the dean of auto racing writers and broadcasters.
Yeah, we're looking to get under him.
Welcome to the
Oh, he could if this lap car would move out of the way. There we go.
Right in here, it's cool.
If this video gets to 10 likes, I'll release a meme that I made of Mike.
Oh no. Can I at least see it before you release it?
Fact show, make sure to hit 10 likes. Make sure to get this to 10 likes, bro.
Can I see it even if it doesn't hit 10 likes?
Yes. I give you full permission. I wouldn't post something unless I give you, you know, I'll let you know. Like, you know the Dalton meme? I'm not going to say what it was. But the Dalton meme that I made in the NSCS account, I asked him for permission beforehand because I knew it was a crazy caption, and he says, fine. So, 8 lead changes, 7 drivers. Nice. You know what would be nice though? 69 lead changes. And 69 likes too. That'd be amazing.
Oh, definitely. I would love to see 69 likes.
I feel like Cale's gonna slingshot to the inside of him and sometime in the next half lap.
He's trying.
Pearson's moved to 10th. Okay.
124.84 is the average speed
I'm surprised it's that low. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut.
Oh, no, you didn't cut me off. You're good. They definitely are going faster nowadays.
Well, I think the reason why it's that low is because they had that caution, but still. Wow. Petty's falling back. What happened to him?
It looks like Lake Speed and Petty did not have long-run cars.
No, that's for sure. Here he goes.
Yep. Exactly what we were thinking. Link shot inside.
Another
Well,
leak.
looks like Dale can come back. Hold on. This is not over yet.
Back show.
And it looks like he got him, but he hasn't. Yes, he did. I would say he hadn't cleared him, but he did just clear him.
So Yarbur's not going to lead a lap this time, and here comes Labonte.
Here they come off of turn number 3. Crossing the
Wal-
start finish line, it's Dale Earnhardt.
Labonte can help. Almost said Walter, but I don't know why.
That's fine.
Chris, as we watch the leaders go around the track, you know, most
Jeez. Okay, this is just to test your NASCAR knowledge. What decade was Darrell Waltrip best in?
Here at Pocono, it seems like every turn is tricky. They're so
80s.
different, and nobody
Correct.
seems to get to
He
every
definitely was better in the 80s and the 90s.
Yeah,
Compromise.
that's
Each
easy.
turn is a different radius as well as a different
Just
banking. And the driver is going to decide which turn he wants to go
Go.
through properly, and they can set the
I was watching, I think it was the 85 Pocono race, like a while back ago. And it was a really solid race. There wasn't many crazy things, obviously, but towards the end of that race, they had like a 12-car wreck on the backstretch, and Neil Bonnet's car like literally rolled on its side.
The other two turns.
Oh, wow.
He didn't flip, but he just like rolled on his side, and there's like 8 cars in the infield grass. You know where Elliott Sadler hit in 2010? It was that same backstretch where they all wrecked. And Bonnet hit near the same spot, but back then they didn't have that curvature in the fence. Whatever.
Once again at the end of the main straightaway, and Cale Yarborough moves back into the lead.
Dale.
Momentarily. This is a great battle for the lead as Earnhardt.
Dale didn't even use the bumpers. You know, it shows a little bit of difference between then and later on in his career. He didn't use the bumper as much. Around this time, you didn't see him bumping people out of the way that much.
But, you know, I run my cars fairly loose as I possibly can. And I started this a long time ago, running dirt tracks and short tracks, and I found out that if you can control a loose car, then the car will run quicker through the corners. Anytime that a car is pushing, you're going to lose time through the corners. So I just tried to teach myself and learn to drive a loose race car.
And a quick explanation of what the term loose means simply means that as you go around these corners, the rear end has a tendency or wants to get out from under. In other words, spin you
I like how
right,
they
and,
cut out the
that's
commercials
way
from
Dale
this
sets the
video,
car
or
because
the
as,
uploader
you
cut the
say,
commercials out. Oh, there's one car really low there. Did you see that?
I did see him.
Dale Earnhardt has had a serious accident at this racetrack coming out of turn number 1. Richard Petty has had one in turn number 2. By the way, some of the top 15 cars...
I'll be right back from the camera, y'all.
40, that's the 100-mile point. Turn number 3 seems to be the safest, but is there one place on this racetrack
Number 21 in the pits.
that you kind of fear the most?
Well, I think that the over the tunnel is the most difficult spot because of the undulations in the surface. The car can get light coming off there, and that has always been the spot that everyone watches. And I think because it's the most dangerous spot,
I'm pretty
they're
sure.
more
I don't think
careful
that's
there,
Kyle
and yet
Petty.
it happens somewhere else.
That may be Ricky Rudd, but I'm not sure.
I forgot who it was, to be honest.
Here comes Cale Yarborough.
I know Kyle Petty was on pit road too. Look how fast he's going. It's so much. It's crazy going back and look at some of these races where they just ran in the pit road and didn't have a speed limit.
And there is Yarborough
He was zooming.
into the pits with the
I wonder if the driver did that now, how much they would get in trouble.
Oh, man, alright. Bowlong's got race suspension for wrecking Larson and then attacking him afterwards. I would have to say maybe a 2-3 race suspension for speeding on pit road like that, plus a $50,000 or $70,000 fine.
I would say he probably gets parked. I wouldn't say a suspension, but probably get parked.
Well, it makes it a little easier than
Yeah, and fines.
Some caution besides parking.
Takes about a minute to get
Yeah,
all the way
fines.
around. Chris, we appreciate you taking the time up to see us. Where are you off to next?
We'll see how these pit stops shuffle the leaderboard, or what we know of the leaderboard.
Initial race of the IROC series, and then I'll be in Detroit for the
No.
Grand Prix. And a week
He
after
pitted
that,
farther
the
back on
Cleveland,
pit
and then
road
down to Dallas.
compared to some of the other guys we've seen.
I'm going to have acute peripatesia before the month of June is over.
Let's go down to Dick
Is that a
Burton, who's
Mustang
with this Dale
sign
Earnhardt stop.
that he had
And
there?
Earnhardt's in the process of changing right side tires. Just about everybody is in right now, or they've been in. This is the first set of routine pit stops under the green flag. The hot ticket here, the majority of competitors are changing right side tires only. Several of them are also in the process of changing the wedge around in the car to try to make the handling better. That stop on Earnhardt, 18.19 seconds. 2 tires, 2 tanks.
Pretty
Earnhardt
good stop,
back out
considering
there,
back
and
then it's
Richard Petty
18
is also
seconds.
on
That's
his
not
way.
bad for
Terry
back
Labonte
then.
also made a pit
Yeah,
stop,
for real.
so most of the leaders were indeed in for service in the last 2 laps. The
And
leader of the
Earnhardt
race
got
is
out in
Harry
front of
Gant,
Petty
number 33. He
by at
has
least
not been in for a
5 or
pit
6
stop. We
seconds.
anticipate that very, very shortly.
Hot day. These race cars are going to change.
There's the
all
leader,
day long.
Harry
There's
Gant. He's about
Gant
to come in.
hunkering her down, going into turn number 3. He drops below the white line. Of course, at this racetrack here, they're a lot anyway. But he's obviously heading for pit road on lap 38. Harry Gant becomes one of the last of the leaders to pit.
38. Okay, so it's lap 39 now.
Here's Dick Berggren.
And this looks like the same sort of stop we've seen right along this afternoon. 2 tires going on the right side, 2 tanks of gas going in. The crew's still in the process of changing it. And right
2
now,
tire
they're
stop.
directing some water in the, toward the
13
It's
seconds.
usually done when the car is starting to get a little bit
Gant
more.
probably
It's
gained about
very,
2
very
spots,
hot
I
down
think.
here on pit road. The people down here are doing the best they can to keep cool. But keeping the cars cool is another story. That may be the story of the race.
Well, that was an excellent pit stop for Harry. 13.8 seconds. The only better one that we timed was a Buddy Baker's 13.6.
I thought he was going to spin for a second the way he was on the
Jeff
grass.
Bodine in car number 5. Remember, Jeff came in during
There's
the first
Jeff
caution
Bodine.
period that we had.
He
So
drove
may
for
not come
Hendrick
in
then.
for
He
a
won
few laps.
Martinsville,
Right
I
now
think,
is
in
the
that
leader.
car.
We watch him in turn number 3 to see if he
That
does
year.
get off the throttle and come into the pits. He does
So,
not.
Mike,
Jeff
what's your
Bodine
thoughts on the
maintains
race so
lead.
far?
I think this is a really good
39
race.
laps completed. Jeff Bodine is
And
the leader.
I really like the 3 wide and all the drafting. The captains for the lead have been great. Everything about this race is just something that I've enjoyed.
Fact show.
And Jeff Bodine has come in for a stop. He was leading the race. They're
Oh, this
changing
is a
rubber
slow
on the right
stop for
side.
them for only
Usually
2
put in
tires.
16 seconds have
Oh,
elapsed.
wow. Earnhardt did 4, right? 4 tires in 18, and they just did 17.
Goes out onto the racetrack once again.
And Bodine's probably going to end up being like 20th or so after one thing cycle around.
David
Yeah.
Pearson. Now this is the car that Neil
Pearson's in
Bonnet
the lead
started,
now. Huh.
But the car that David Pearson sat on the pole with for this race.
Imagine you're right and you won the race.
David Pearson replaced Neil Bonnet on the first caution, and now he has moved back up front. David Pearson, the leader, with 42 laps completed.
So we're not even
They call this
1
area the
4th through the
honeymoon
race
capital
yet,
of the
Mike.
United States. A lot of
We're
honeymooners
almost
spend
1/4
their
through the race.
first few days here. We are about 100 miles northwest of Philadelphia in the Pocono Mountains.
See, Mike,
The
Pocono's
closest,
not that far
town
from me.
to us is a place called
Yeah, I know that.
Longmont, Pennsylvania, the
I'm just
largest
playing.
city close to here.
I
is
remember you said it was like
Roxbury.
4 hours
Pocono
away,
International
which
Raceway
it
is
sounds
a
about
challenging
right.
course for the drivers,
It's
and
like
they have come here this
12
afternoon
for
to
me.
assault it as best they can.
Right.
To the west of us, one of the real
Oh,
hotbeds
would
of
I go to
supercar
Pocono?
racing in
Maybe.
America, and to the east of us, modified racing. We're kind of right in that twilight
Factual
zone.
information, and you know, Dave Pearson won his only his first World 661 with only 3 wheels.
Oh,
What happened to that camera? They just didn't change it. They didn't change it in time. That's what happens when they pan and they don't change it, and they the communications. That's what happens. I've seen it happen during broadcast.
That's true.
Like working on a race broadcast, I've seen that happen.
And ninth is Bill Elliott, and here is David Pearson.
But as I was saying, Pearson only won. He only had 3 tires at the end of that race. That he won the 61 World 600.
Ron Bouchard, all those people are a little bit out of sync as far as the rest of the leaders on pit stopping. Dick Berggren is in the pit of number 12.
And there's been some contact with number 12. There's a blue paint mark, a red paint mark on the left front fender. David Pearson is cool as always,
Eh.
is sitting in the car, nice and comfortable.
Short track racing.
Junior's adjusted
Nah,
the
not
wedge in
really.
the car.
Triangle
Everybody else,
racing.
they've taken 2 tires and a load of fuel, and they're going.
right now I have no clue who's going to win this race because there's been so many different leaders, so many guys come and go from the front. It's kind of hard to tell. Darrell Waltrip's not even been a contender. I picked him to win. He hasn't even been in the top 5 since the beginning of the race. There's Tim Richmond. I think he's leading because he didn't pit. He pitted at the first caution. Yep. Now he's coming.
Looks like maybe setting up for a pit stop. Yes, indeed. Here comes Tim.
I know Richmond won at Pocono like 3 times, I think.
Earlier this year, Tim Richmond coming into the pits, the number 27 Old Milwaukee Pontiac. There's a good look at the young driver, formerly from Ashland, Ohio.
He pitted really close to the wall.
In Mooresville, North Carolina.
Perhaps one of the finest athletes in terms of hand-eye coordination in all of automobile racing as we're watching Richmond by the
Bring back the signs of when the pit.
Another one of the drivers, a little bit out with the
Now, they don't even need those now. They just use the radio, but Darrell Waltrip's pitting too.
The people who just a half a lap ago were in first and second position, incidentally. Ricky Rudd is also pitted as we watch first Richmond. There he is in the old Milwaukee car exiting the pits.
I don't really know what this add-ons is other than what you said so far. I don't really have a rating for it, but it is pretty solid. I've seen better Pocono races through the first 1/4 through the race, but it's been pretty solid so far. I really like this race. It's been really entertaining.
As we indicated earlier, 2 wins this year on the Winston Cup Trail off of turn number 3 now, down the main straightaway. This will complete lap number 45.
If Kel's already pitted, then that means he's not far from lapping Richmond and Waltrip, which means Richmond and Waltrip are probably like 20th or 16th, something like that. Because they've already lapped half the field, I'm pretty sure.
4th is Terry Labonte and 5th is Bill Elliott.
Cale Yarborough, a man that I suppose that a lot of...
Cale Yarborough, I feel like a lot of people don't give him his props, but Yarborough was a fantastic driver, and a really tough one too.
Right, just like Pearson earlier, a lot of people don't give him props. Yarborough was another guy that people don't really talk about. I don't know what it is. It's like generation that me and you have grown up with in NASCAR fans, they find a few legends and kind of just stick to them. They don't really give all these legends their props.
Well, I would say people born like 2000s, they feel like that way, but I do know there's a lot of people that prefer racing back then compared to now, like me. I'm sure you prefer a different era than I do, for example. But yeah, I mean, I feel like there's people that would say stuff like how Carl Edwards was a better driver than Cale Yarborough. Like, that's probably what the mindset of some people are, and that's completely false, because you know how many wins Yarborough had? 80. I want to say either 83 or 84. So.
Right, but it's not even that. It's just like I don't see people talking about people like Cale Yarborough and David Pearson a lot. They all just talk about, Petty, Gordon, Earnhardt,
Jimmy
Johnson.
Yeah.
Right, Waltrip. You don't see a lot of these other names talked about in group chats.
Well, not even that, but like Twitter. I don't see Twitter people, not many people talking about them on Twitter. And Bobby Allison was a really good driver too, and I know this is going to rub people the wrong way, but Bobby Allison was better than Kyle Busch.
Richard Petty's team has run a line off the cooling system to a gauge inside on the dashboard.
And I know some people disagree with that probably, and if they do, then they probably just haven't looked at the facts and looked at the research and everything, but then again, everyone has their own opinion, and that's okay. Oh, I forgot that was music. Alright, hopefully they didn't get me anything, but, Earnhardt's second.
Cale Yarborough leading at this point with Dale Earnhardt running in second position and Harry Gant now in third. Cale Yarborough moves off of turn number 3 onto the straightaway once again, and this will be lap number 49. One more lap, and we'll be a fourth of the way through this race on this hot Sunday afternoon. And while we're in the air conditioning, Dick Bergeron is stifling in the heat. Dick?
And so are these tires. Race tires run better when they're cool than when they're hot. So this is Dick Brooks' crew. They've covered up the tires here with some white canvas. And
is that a chameleon on that sign?
They've done the same thing. In fact, cool tires run so much better that sometimes the competitors will just take tires off the car in a pit stop, put them back.
Nowadays they don't do that because they're single lug nuts and they don't have tire management discipline.
All right, Cale Yarborough, the leader. We have had 15 lead changes among 8 drivers so far. There's the leader, Yarborough.
Oh, Gant got by Earnhardt.
Gant has second place as he's passed Dale Earnhardt in the past couple of minutes to take over second spot. But these two drivers have been battling for that position for the last several laps since they came out of the pits after their first stop.
So, do you think that this race has been better than the Riverside race we reacted to a couple months ago in '87? Do you think this one's better than that one so far?
No.
So you thought the Riverside one's better at this point?
Maybe not this point, but overall, I thought it was better.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I mean, the '87 Riverside race was really good. But of course, we haven't seen this whole race yet, but, yeah.
Brooks, we believe this is unofficial. He may be a lap down. Then Richard Petty still on the lead lap, running now about 10.
So Petty lost spots, of course, on that stop. He fell at 10th.
Also unofficially, we think that Sterling Marlin in car number 95, Sterling running his own operation, is still on the lead lap and running, about 16th or 17th spot.
So Sterling Marlin was independent, I think is what they just said, in the 95 at this point.
Richard Petty is now running in 11th spot. Richard, after his 200th win here today, he was an early leader of the race.
Yeah, so Petty's not winning this race because this race was probably the second Pocono race. Since it was after Daytona, this has to be the second Pocono race.
Gant has had 2 second-place finishes so far this year.
Looks like Gant might win it, maybe Earnhardt.
Right now, I don't think Waltrip's going to win. Yeah, I picked him to win, but he's just not up there. He's not fast enough right now.
No, Bobby Allison.
Bobby Allison's in the top 10. He's been up there all race, but if they keep having green runs, he's not going to get there.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
That's good. What's your favorite turn at Pocono?
Spot 1. I really like the entry.
Yeah, turn 1 entry is really cool, but it's definitely scary for some drivers, they've said, and it was a really dangerous turn back then. I mean, we saw what happened to Greg Sachs in turn 1 before, Dale Earnhardt. What's some other guys that have been in wrecks in turn 1? Chuck Bowden had a wreck in turn 1 one time. It was really bad. So, Buddy Ayrton too. So, I mean, turn 1 was pretty sketchy. And we've seen Jimmy Johnson and Bubba Wallace have brake failures in turn 1 and slam the wall.
Yeah, they crashed that ended Jimmy Johnson's career, apparently.
Well, I would say ended it, just definitely had a thing to where Johnson's like, okay, I need to stop running full time. But to be fair, he still has raced in other series, and he's coming back for some races this year, so I'm pretty excited for that.
Oh, I'm very, very excited to see Jimmy Johnson come back.
I don't think he's going to do that great, but I think he'll be in the top 10 maybe a couple times, but I don't know.
I think he'll do fine. I definitely don't think he'll win, but I wouldn't be surprised if, say, he runs at, like, Charlotte. I wouldn't be surprised if he got top 10.
Okay. Right now, the leaders are in lap traffic. I'm pretty sure they just lapped Ronnie Thomas.
Slam on the brakes. That's probably overstating it just a little bit, but you hit the brakes hard, and then you have to dive down at the bottom of this 14-degree bank corner. On that particular lap, you saw Earnhardt.
He's been on Gant and Earnhardt for like 5 laps. Come on, ESPN. I want to see some other cars here. You know how some people on Twitter be complaining about the broadcast? Like, you try to run a broadcast. I want to see you to try to do it.
Interval between first and second is now 4.13 seconds as Earnhardt moves in on the tail of Harry Gant.
Yeah, that's what it's. I mean, right now it's looking like it's just a long green flag run, which I'm not surprised because a lot of the Pocono races around the late 80s had long green flag runs.
Indianapolis 500, and a guy that's worked with us on ESPN a couple of times. Was the guy that
I think the
actually
longest
made
green
this
flag run
and,
Pocono that I've
signed
seen
it
on
to be a
Racing
challenge.
Reference one
That
time was
reason
like
why all
100
three
laps
cars here
or something like
are
that,
very, very
which is pretty wild.
similar. Now there is the leader,
And I'm
Dale
sure
Yarborough,
that's
car number
exhausting
28,
for the drivers
the
to have a 100 lap
Chevrolet.
or so green
55
flag
laps
run at
completed.
Pocono.
We'll be right back.
Right.
The Darrell Waltrip fans have brought their banner out here at Pocono
Hey,
International
shut up.
Raceway as we cover for you the Vanscoy Diamond Mines 500. A week from today,
Well,
Larry
that's
and I
crazy.
will
They
be
just have a
separated,
camera
and
on
we'll be separated about
them.
as far as you can be separated. I will be
Just
in
sitting there.
Montreal, Quebec, Canada for the
Well, to
Formula
be
One
fair, it
Canadian
could be
Grand
worse. They
Prix.
could just
Join
be
me at
having it
1
on kids,
p.m.
though,
Eastern
broadcast,
Daylight
like
Time
Fox, but
at the Gilles Villeneuve circuit in Montreal.
they're just having camera on them
Later
sleeping.
next Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, Larry and Gary
Mike,
Lee
you there?
will be in
Yes, I'm right
Portland,
here.
Sorry,
Oregon
just
for the
I wasn't sure if it was
Indianapolis
cutting out or
car race.
whatever.
The first time
And of
that the
course,
championship
for those
racing
watching
teams
right now, thank
raced
y'all for
in
tuning
Portland,
in
and it'll be an
to
exciting race on the
this
1.915
race, and I hope y'all have enjoyed it
road
so
course.
far. Make
Join
sure
us next
to
Sunday for a
hit the
racing
like button,
doubleheader
subscribe,
in
and
Montreal
of course
in
follow us
Portland.
on our social
There's
medias
the
in the
leader of this
description
race
below.
here in Pocono, Pennsylvania at this point, Cale Yarborough. 57 laps have been completed.
57.
We have 22 cars now on the lead lap. One of them is running in 15th position. That's the number 95 car, driven by Sterling Marlin of Columbia, Tennessee.
Sir Martin's doing pretty decent. I know this is like towards the beginning of his career in NASCAR, so it's cool that you hear like, oh, he's an independent driver, he's driving 95, he's up there. I'm pretty sure that's him right there, yeah. He's there with the 21, who I know Cape's driving the 7, so I don't know if he's in the 21.
I'll have to look that up after the race.
Oh, I think it's Buddy Baker, because I remember we were looking at the start lineup. I think it said Buddy Baker was in the 21 in this race.
Oh, yeah, you might be right.
New team ran at was at Talladega when they got a 12th position. So they're very optimistic toward the future. They plan on coming back next year, running the full schedule. Jim Testis Chevrolet is now involved in the sponsorship of
Nice.
Sterling Marlin's new car. And here's a guy who did very well last year as a rookie, and certainly hopes that he will become not only a regular, but a real potential winner on this trail for years to come.
Yeah, Marlin, it took him a while to win, but he ended up having a really respectable career.
Ford T-Bird, he of course is from Sherrills Ford.
Another underrated driver. This video's really been talking about underrated drivers.
Actually, do you think he should be in the Hall of Fame?
Sterling Marlin?
Yeah.
I think eventually, but it shouldn't be a priority as like some other drivers.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he had a good bit of wins, but of course, he won a 500. In fact, I think he won 2. So, I think Marlin should be in the Hall of Fame, but I don't think he'll get in. Just knowing how it is nowadays, I don't think they would have him in. Because they have so many other people they're trying to get in. They only have 4 people. I think they only have like 4 drivers per ballot, I think, or per selection.
All the other deserving ones have already been in.
Who didn't make it this past year? Was it? I'm sure. Didn't Edwards get in recently?
I don't think he did. Hold up. Let's see if he made it.
Yarborough has led 19 laps of this race. We have been yellow only once, that in the early stages, for an accident involving Jerry Bowman and J.D. McDuffie. The caution was out for 5 laps, but since they got that accident cleaned up, in which no one was injured,
Herschel McGriff, Kurt Schoenmeyer, Matt Kenseth.
Yeah, Kenseth.
Edwards was a nominee, I believe. Gibson was a nominee, but he did not make it in, which makes sense.
Well, I will say Kurt Shelberdine definitely deserved to be in there. I actually I met him, I did meet him this past year. Yeah, I did. I did meet him in 2022. And I'm glad he got in. Kenseth, I think, deserves to be in there. I know how you feel about Kenseth, but I think he deserves to be in there.
So, yeah, there's no doubt he
the sun
deserves it.
will go under a cloud, but Right now, at least, the sun
Now,
is
I will
shining
say,
bright.
I don't think Greg Biffle should be in it.
That have gathered here in front of us, you can see how very warm they are as we look down upon them. We are high above
I don't
them on
think
the
he
main
deserved it
straightaway
as
here.
much as some other
Very,
drivers.
very warm afternoon, and it's even hotter out there in those race cars. Now, Jeff Bodine.
You know what I find ridiculous?
Alongside David
What?
Pearson in the tunnel turn.
Why is Neil Bonnet not in there? Why is Ricky Rudd not in there? Oh, wow! Speaking of...
Pearson looks like he's going to head for the pits.
Pearson's going to pit, but Bodine outturned him.
Trading a little paint there. David Pearson is.
But yeah, like I was saying, Neil Bonnet should be in there. Ricky Rudd should be in there for sure. Why are they not in?
In that case is that
Yeah, for real.
simply did not expect David to pit. They had been racing together for a number of laps, and all of a sudden David slowed. Jeff was right behind. You see evidence of that contact there in the left tail, and Dick Bergman is there.
And what's going on right now is Junior has his left arm in that car, and boy, have they jacked some weight into it. They've also changed the right
A
side
slow
tire,
stop right now
runs
for
some additional
Pearson.
fuel
He's
in
going to
it.
lose
Now they've
a
gone
lot
to
of
a second
time.
air wrench on the right front. Problems with the right front air wrench. Not a good stop. There goes David Pearson on his way.
Yeah, he might get lapped. And there's Junior Johnson.
Nick, that was a 26.7-second pit stop, and you can see the disgust on the face of
Yeah, he
Junior
did not look
Johnson.
happy.
We go back just a few seconds ago and watch this situation that developed in turn 3.
Well, see, Jeff
That was
thought they were
close.
racing. He didn't realize that David apparently had made the decision to come into the pits, and Jeff
I think
just
that's
did not
Bobby
expect
Allison. He was
David to
running
slow
8th
down
at the
that
time,
much.
so now
Depends on
Bobby's
where they
7th.
touch, but that's why they got professional, experienced race drivers in Grand National. Most any Saturday night short track, that probably would have been a two-car accident.
The lead continues to be held by Cale Yarborough. Second position is Dale
What's
Earnhardt.
that noise?
In third place is Harry Gant. Fourth is Terry Labonte, and fifth is Bill Elliott. We'll be right back. Standings at the end of 65 out of 200 laps.
Yeah, that's
That will
the
make up
same top
Vance
5 as it
Joy
was a little
Diamond
while
9
ago,
500
so.
Here at Pocono, Yarborough, Earnhardt, Gant, Labonte, and Bill Elliott. Running in sixth position is Jeff Bodine. Seventh is Bobby Allison. Eighth is Joe Ruttman. Ninth is
Joe
Blake
Ruttman's
Speed,
in 8th.
And 10th is Benny Parsons, driving car number 55.
Petty's like
If you're a
14th, I
rival
think,
crew,
right
you gotta
now.
be worried right now about Cale Yarborough and his dominance so far. There
When do you
is
think the
Benny
next
Parsons.
caution's
Benny
going to
has
be?
raced
It's been a
against
long
Cale
green
Yarborough
flag run.
many, many times. Benny, a former national champion. Taking that line that Bob, he talked to you and me about
You
yesterday.
might not even have one.
Sides over down into the grass coming out of turn number 3.
Well, right now it's looking like we're only going to get 3, considering, let me see what time it is on video. 1 hour 7, and they haven't even gone halfway yet, so. The way it's going, we may only have 1 or 2 more. I picked 4, and you picked 6.
Now known as the ARCA ranks. Originally from the south, down in Ellerby, North Carolina, very close to the seat of stock car racing. He moved north for a number of years, lived in the Detroit area, and that's when he started driving race cars when he was up there, and he was a many times champion of the MARC and the ARCA New Car Association.
Well, Benny finished second last weekend at Riverside, subbing for Neil Bonnet, the same thing that David Pearson is doing here today. And we asked Benny Parsons about the heat problem here.
The heat.
That is the hardest thing that we have to contend with in a race car is the heat. Because when it's 90 degrees outside, when it's uncomfortable for you doing your job and the fans viewing the race, then it becomes almost unbearable in the race car. Because it's 30, 40 degrees hotter in there than it is outside. You dehydrate. The air that you breathe is so hot, so thin that there doesn't seem to be any oxygen in it. It's a hard job. You know, we really earn our pay on very hot days.
Former Grand National champion Benny Parsons.
You know, Benny Parsons, he provides a lot of insight and analysis, and not only that, but he was just very knowledgeable of stock car racing and racing. And he not only was he that when he was a broadcaster, but also as a driver, as you saw then there with that segment.
Yeah, he's kind of like he's kind of like the older version of maybe like Jeff Burton, Brad Keselowski, Darrell Waltrip.
Well, Benny Parsons passed away in, I want to say 07? I don't remember. But
into this 200-lap race. Greg Sachs.
Parsons was definitely a really great guy.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Ronnie Thomas on the screen the whole race. I know he's driving the 41.
He's probably got lapped so many times under caution or commercial, unless he parked it.
I know he's definitely lapped, but I don't know how far away he is. Or how many laps he's down. After the race, we'll look on Racing Reference and see some of the stats. That's Ricky Rudd about to go lap down in the 15.
Pearson coming in. We now have 17 cars on the lead lap. Here's Dick Berggren.
A lot of the crews here tell me that they really wish the yellow flag would fly. A lot of them want to make some minor changes in the car. For example, Jeff Bodine's crew chief.
They're all smiles a bit, right?
If we could just get a yellow, we could make the changes we need. We could really get going. Tim Richmond's guys are having a little brake problem. They'd like to have a yellow. Behind me, Ronnie Bouchard's crew says, gee, we wish we could have a yellow so we could change some tires and really get this thing hooked up.
Well, that is not the situation right now. It remains green out there as we pick up Cale Yarborough.
Cale Yarborough has led, I think, the last 20 laps.
8th position. Right now it is Joe Ruttman running 8th in car number 98, and in 9th spot.
Oh, we got a spin.
A yellow because of a spin.
Finally.
Clark Dwyer.
Wow. So they were just talking about a caution and it just happened.
You might see wholesale stopping now on pit road. A lot of folks will probably come in. This will be only a 2 or 3 lap.
If that was like the 60s or 50s, he's fine, no yellow.
Nobody will be losing laps.
Let him go.
Clark Dwyer, the Hesco exhaust system, Chevy spins.
Oh, Gant's pitting.
Harry Gant among the first to enter pit road.
Expected.
Well, back then they didn't have a pit lane closed thing, so even if a caution like immediately came out, they would still go to pits anyways.
Bill Elliott has already pulled in. Now, Gant and Elliott were in a nice position when the yellow
Why did they put that?
I think it was just because the scoring. I think, well, one reason definitely is because of the scoring issues they were having. Because there was, like, if you remember the race review I did with Josh, Speedway Nostalgia in the 88 Richmond race, that's how they got messed up with Neil Bonnet and Rudd was when they pitted. Yeah, they pitted on 2 separate laps. One of them pitted, I think it was Bonnet pitted right when the yellow came out, and they didn't track. And they said he didn't pit or whatever when he did, and it kind of messed up the scoring. So, yeah, I think that's what it had to do with his race, just all the scoring errors.
And this will be a 4-tire stop for sure. The crew chief.
I still think Neil Bonnet won that race. Oh, wow.
Yarborough almost hit the car coming out of an earlier pit. This will be a 4-tire stop. Waddell Wilson held.
There you got playoff implications because of the lap
All
car.
4 tires will be changed on the car. Outside tires first, and then the inside tires will be done. Yarborough says, I got enough to drink here. He's got himself a glass of water, glass of Coca-Cola.
A glass of Coke.
Back on, that's Waddell Wilson, the crew chief, supervising the left front tire.
4-tire stops, 26 seconds. Well, this is a long stop here. 28, yeah, he lost spots. He lost the lead.
Yes, it was, Dick. It was
Labonte got out before him, so did Earnhardt.
An all 4-tire change. It was a good one.
The 95.
Their collision as Cale came in.
Well, he had to lock her up tight.
Can't control that.
Trying to wave.
But no excuses from that pit crew.
Was watching Waddell, thank heaven.
Nowadays, you radioactive in NASCAR, Yarborough or whoever would be in the 28 car. Bleep, what's this bleeper doing in the pit road? Bleep. Penalties. Black flag.
There were only just a very few.
Petty and Waltrip got out really
Here
behind.
comes Richard Petty out of the pits in the STP Pontiac. So we are yellow because of a spin involving Clark Dwyer in car number 17. Didn't hit anything and will be able to get back into the race, but it has enabled cars and drivers to come in for their second pit stops and also will now bunch up the field, and we anticipate some exciting racing when we
I bet this restart's going to be
we'll
good.
take this break and be right back at the Vanscoy Diamond Mine 500 in Pocono, Pennsylvania. Back and
we're right back just like that.
Back to racing at Pocono, and Harry has the lead. Second position.
Oh, this is really good. This is really cool.
Third place, Dale Earnhardt. In fourth is Cale Yarborough.
Earnhardt just took a dead left in front of Ricky. Or dead right, not left.
Boy, there's still a lot of traffic out there. It may have been lonely during that yellow flag pit stop period, but once we go back to green, we still have 38 cars in this race.
38 cars in the race still.
72 laps down and 38 continue to race, and right now, there's the best one, at least up to this point. He leads, going down the middle
Yeah, it looks like he's pulling away, kind of like earlier. No.
Terry Labonte, what a run he got there.
Very early in the race as Terry Labonte
Finger
goes
move by
inside
Labonte.
straightaway and passes Harry Gant for the lead. Labonte
Pearson
is
get
in
him
the
too?
lead. That accident involving J.D. McDuffie and Jerry Bowman.
Is that Pearson or Waltrip in third? I couldn't tell.
I could be wrong, but I thought it was Pearson.
Crossing the start-finish line, 73 laps have been completed. And running second, Dale Earnhardt third, and Cale Yarborough now moving.
I think that's Sarah
forward
Waltrip, but he's a lap down.
Third spot. As he does, he passes Dale Earnhardt.
Yeah.
Cale Yarborough now in
Wait.
third.
No, that's the 12, so Pearson's a lap down. I know he made an extra pit stop, so that explains it. Yeah, that's Pearson. He's a lap down, first car lap down. They didn't have a lucky dog rule back then either, so if Pearson wants to get back in the lead lap, he needs to get in front of the 44.
Now move to North Carolina like so many of the other Grand National stock car drivers.
I don't think he can do it. For now, at least.
Any Grand National stock car driver, he always runs near the front. That team also headed up by Dale Inman knows how to finish races. One thing for sure, if they don't have any problems in terms of crashing or an unexpected engine problem, they are always
Bill Elliott's now in fifth.
A great record.
Oh, everyone else from 6 on back is pretty far back compared to the front 5. Dale going for third.
197, and the leader, Darrell Waltrip, has 1,912 points. Labonte still in the lead with Harry Gant running in second position. Then we go back, and here is the battle for third place.
Wow. Just like earlier, Yarborough and Earnhardt switched in positions. Here comes Elliott.
Fifth position as Bill Elliott also sneaks by on the low side racetrack, and Bill Elliott picks up fourth spot.
This was the year before Elliott won a bunch of races in '85. Elliott swept both Pocono races in '85.
Won a race and been very close on a couple of others. He's now
I think his race somewhat clean today. I haven't really seen him bump anybody.
There are the leaders. You saw the interval among the
Well, it is Pocono if you bump someone too hard. Into the wall. Pretty hard.
The way in which Gant lost the lead was he got a little loose between turns 2 and 3.
I mean, we saw what happened in '82 with Earnhardt and Rich going into turn 1. If you tap the wrong way, you're going to go flipping in 1, hit the wall head on.
Earnhardt trying the high side. David Pearson whizzes by, but again, as Bob mentioned, David's a lap down.
The thousands of race fans gathered here today rose to their feet to watch the procession down the main straightaway. Terry Labonte, 75 laps completed, is the leader of this 200-lap event.
Terry Labonte has never won here at Pocono. His best finish was a third. His 3 wins in Grand National competition coming at Rockingham, Darlington, and Riverside International Raceway.
Gant's going for lead again. Looks like he'll get it.
Got it, yeah.
At Pocono in the Grand National Circuit.
It's a lot of passes to the lead, which I love to see. Oh, Yarborough. I thought he was going to slide up into Labonte for a second.
As Yarborough and Labonte are side by side coming down the long front straightaway.
Crossing the start-finish line, Labonte with just about a fender advantage on Cale Yarborough. Let's see how they stack up as they go into turn number 3. We've had 18 lead changes among 8 drivers. Cale Yarborough passing Terry Labonte, going into second, Labonte third, and right there knocking on the Dale is Dale Earnhardt. In
I thought he was going to say, I thought he said knocking on the Dale. It's Dale. I thought that's what he said at first.
76 laps have been completed, but the first 5 cars running nose to tail on the racetrack and battling it out for position.
So we 2 cautions before. I bet there's probably another green flag run for about 40 laps. Hard to guess, seeing how the last one went. The last green flag run was about 50. A little bit around 50 or 55.
Let's see if the pattern repeats itself. Here comes Yarborough, barreling up on the back bumper of Harry Gant. He'll challenge coming down the front stretch, and let's see if everybody else kind of almost train wrecks right behind Yarborough as they go into the steeply.
But who are the three out? I know JD and the other guy that were in that first wreck are out, but who's the other car?
No, that Clark guy was out. On out.
Yeah, but he's not out, so it's gonna.
There's no way it's that Clark guy.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I
just
think
heard it wrong. Now Yarborough's going for the lead again. Yarborough's right now. Yarborough's looking like the guy to beat.
It does sneak around Harry Gant, so it is Cale Yarborough back on the point here, off of the second turn and onto the north.
Oh, 3 wide for second.
Bill Elliott is looking good on the outside of the race.
Third now.
Red car. Third,
great battle.
Fifth are side by side going into turn number 3. Elliott was third there for a moment, but now is back into 5th spot.
Boy, there just isn't enough room to go into that flat, relatively so, 6-degree banking. Corner number 3, Elliott did think the better of it, and I definitely do feel as though...
Bobby Allison, I haven't seen much of him during this race, but he's been in the top 7.
Down the main straightaway, going for the lead. 6th spot belongs to Jeff Bodine in car number 5, and he is about 3 or 4 seconds behind this lead pack. Now off of turn number 2, again down the long pond straightaway. Harry Gant would like to take the lead back. He pulls alongside Cale Yarborough. They go into turn number 2, the tunnel turn, and Harry Gant has the slight advantage. Gant back into the lead. Cale Yarborough second. Dale Earnhardt has moved back up into third. Labonte drops back to 4th, and Bill Elliott is watching everything.
Oh, wow, he got loose.
Now Cale Yarborough darts the car.
Man, I'm loving this race.
Harry Gant on the north straightaway.
It's kind of like how it was in the beginning of the race where they were all passing each other speed.
We really needed that restart.
Oh, wow, that's close! Whoa, they made contact. Wow. Earnhardt getting a little aggressive now. And this has been a fantastic race. Whenever they're all bunched up at the front like that.
Lead changes between 8 drivers.
Somewhere other than the start-finish line, but Gant did an excellent job of finding some way of keeping.
I know in the years 80, I think one of the races at Talladega in 81, I know there's a couple Michigan races in the early 80s too where they had like 30 or 40 lead changes or so, and then same Pocono.
As they head for the north straightaway once again, it is Earnhardt running behind Cale Yarborough.
I'm pretty sure I saw a stat or something that there was a race at Michigan one time that had like 46 lead changes. I may be wrong. One car looked like it was smoking. Oh, I wasn't wrong. There's Jeff Bodine.
Is having problems and coming into the pits.
You got problems.
Smoke is pouring from the rear of that race car. Could be an engine
Garage.
problem.
Yep, that either overheating or engine.
Jeff is looking at the gauges, and they must be all reading zeros. Either that or they're pegged somewhere else that doesn't look good. He was as high as 6th position. He was having a good day, and the Northwestern Security Life machine is headed back.
Looks like oil's coming out from that car too, so the track may be slippery.
That quickly, it's terminal.
Jeff Bodine was running in 6th position when he dropped out of the race. Here's Dick Berggren.
How much fun was that 3-wide deal going down the straightaway? Well, let me tell you how much fun it was for Richard Childress. That owns Dale Earnhardt's car that was part of it.
Oh boy.
When they went by him, Childress just put both hands over his eyes.
It looks like the car's trying to bottom out from Dale, but he's holding strong.
What finally did happen.
Well, it's exciting out there, and Earnhardt's right alongside Yarborough again as they
now,
go into
Gant made, I thought Gant was going to try to shoot under Dale, but it looks like he's just going to help him.
They go into one. Earnhardt is going to get into the lead here as they move into that first corner.
Help him right now, and then next lap he'll try and get under there.
Sharp left. Gant now in second, and Yarborough dropping back to third.
Man, any of the top 5 right now have been up in the top 5, so they've been switching a lot of spots. These 5 are the guys that are going to contend for the win, at least from what I've seen so far.
I agree.
Quintet right there, those 5 people, is Bill Elliott, the guy in the very end. He is moving back and forth like wagging the tail on the dog, trying to find a way to
He said wagging the tail like a dog.
Going on up front. He just hasn't had enough room.
Mike, when he watches the Wizards win, be like,
Be a little higher toward the front, a little more room to maneuver, but driving the road course, he's going to drive
on there? Oh,
Lap traffic. Oh boy. Kale, look at Kale going all the way down by everybody. And it worked.
Well, there goes Bill Elliott moving to the inside. Missing a back marker. As they go into turn
Well, I thought it was work. I mean, it did work. He gained a spot, but I thought he was going to go into the lead for a second.
He almost did, yeah.
They passed like 10 lap cars on the front stretch. That was pretty crazy.
Bill Elliott, who was running strong in 5th position, has dropped back just a little bit, and there's about a second interval between Terry Labonte in 4th and Bill Elliott in 5th, but he will, I'm sure, gain that advantage back.
I think Kel's led about 30 laps or something like that. And I know Gant led some early. Speed led like 2. Petty led about 10 because some of them were on the caution.
Look at that. I tell you, it's like the Pied Piper, isn't it?
Like the snake slithering trying to get trapped.
As long as they're drafting him, there's a chance that he's going to get past. So that's why the movement back and forth, and the guys behind him, well, they're comfortable where they are. They'll have nothing of it. They're going to let Earnhardt run up front. They're going to make Earnhardt's machine do a lot of the work. They'll make him set the pace. Let's see exactly what you got, Dale Earnhardt, in this particular segment of the race. By the way, 85 laps down. They'll be all together in this race. And Yarborough, who is one of the most aggressive drivers in all of automobile racing.
So, which driver has impressed you the most so far in this race?
Right now,
probably Harry Gant and Cale Yarborough. Of course.
Pearson definitely would have been in that conversation if he didn't have that other pit stop that got him behind. Because he drove from like 30th to like top 10 in like 15 laps. So that was pretty cool, but right now I'd say the drivers impressed me the most. Cale Yarborough.
8th is Bobby Allison, 9th is Ron Bouchard, and 10th place is Joe Rudman.
The line has been pretty good as well.
Yeah. I think they just said, wow. I think they just said Rudman was in 8th or something. I know they said,
sorry to cut you off, but
you're good.
Like, drivers out.
Yeah. Allison, they said, I'm pretty sure said was 8th. Rudman was in 9th. Yarborough now got the lead back again.
14 cars continue to race on the lead lap as Earnhardt and
the average speed did go up. The average speed was like 130 or 134 until that yellow.
Yeah, it was 133.3.
Is Richard Petty, so that Quest for number 200 career wins continues to live on and live healthily because he's still on the lead.
Wait, it said Quest for 200, so that means Richard Petty still hasn't won his 200th win, so that means Petty. This was the first Pocono race that year. I thought it was the second one, but I'm wrong.
Bill Elliott is watching from 5th. Now Yarborough to the inside at the end of the straightaway. Into turn number 1, and Cale Yarborough snatches back the lead.
And here comes Dale back to the inside. This is incredible. They're racing like it's the final laps.
Moves alongside of Yarborough. See how they go into turn number 2.
Yeah, the drafting's really great too. I mean, you can just tell that they just keep slingshotting each other, and I love it. That's now 22 lead changes. Maybe 23.
Oh, I tell you, you gotta watch it close. By the way, you saw a good example of Harry Gant respecting the bumps on the inside of turn number 2. He was drafting Earnhardt, touching Dale's back bumper. As they entered turn number 2, Harry backed off. He gave some distance, a couple feet between himself and Earnhardt, because he knew that if he was rubbing
now Labonte's trying to take third from Cale. Bill Elliott's showing favoritism to. Yeah, I'm just kidding. He's not showing favoritism. Just trying to go where the best lane is.
You would think that the spectators gathered here on the straightaway would be too tired to get up and watch the procession down the straightaway, but every lap out of turn number 3, the spectators rise to their feet and watch.
They're like, nah, the race is too exciting to me for me to be exhausted and sit down. They're standing up. They're excited. Well, I don't remember the last time I saw a Pocono race where the fans were going crazy. It's been a long time.
Yarborough, Labonte, and Elliott in that order now down the north straightaway.
Maybe 2021, I'm pretty sure. Whatever race at where Larson lost the tire. No, he had a flat tire or something at one of the Pocono races, and I'm sure that one was got fans going crazy, but not many that I've seen. Like, I haven't heard any crowd reaction to Pocono in years.
I know I was going crazy when Larson blew that tire.
Yeah, that was 2021, now I'm thinking about it.
Race of the doubleheader, I believe.
Yeah. Bowman won that race, I'm pretty sure, and the next race, I'm pretty sure Kyle Busch, like, ran out of fuel or something, and Hamlin won.
Correct, I believe. I know you're correct with Bowman, I forgot who won the second one.
Remember that one race, I think in like 2015 or whatever, where I'm pretty sure it was like Logano ran out of gas, and it looked like Kyle Busch was going to win, then Kyle Busch ran out of gas, and Kansas was like 20 seconds behind and passed him in turn 3 and won the race, I'm pretty sure. That had me very pumped up. I was so excited watching that.
I remember I was a little mad that Logano ran out of gas.
Battle for the lead as Waltrip is closing in on 5th place, Bill Elliott.
A lot of Darrell Waltrip's victories, and there he is, number 11 going by on the inside of turn number 1. A lot of his victories
picture.
super speedways have been very
calculated
wins. On the short track,
DW's coming alive. Here he is up towards the front now.
About lap number 20. A lot of his long track victories have been very cerebral wins, if you will. They think out the race before they go out. Waltrip runs relatively conservatively the first quarter, first half of the race, and then he comes on strong, and that may well be what we're seeing here.
Yeah, as I was saying, he was pretty far back. Maybe he was hauling ground or whatever. He was being patient.
In Grand National stock car racing over the last half decade.
Darrell Waltrip is the current leader in the Winston Cup point standings with 1,912 points. Terry Labonte is second in point standings. Earnhardt is third.
You can hear the engines too.
Bobby Allison, who earlier in the year was mired down in about 12th position in points, has now moved up to 6th position. So Bobby Allison is letting everyone know that he is not giving up the defense of his Winston Cup championship.
I'm pretty sure they just lapped Ronnie Thomas there.
Down Long Pond straightaway.
Couldn't get a clear car number, but it looked like the 41.
We're nearing the halfway point of the Vanscoy Diamond Mines.
Ooh, we're halfway there almost.
We're delighted you could join us.
14 cars on the lead lap now. It's much less than it was earlier.
Pocono International Raceway, the 14th stop on the Grand National Tour for 1984. At the end of 93 laps, 14 cars are on the lead lap, and this is how they're running. Dale Earnhardt is the leader. Second place is Harry Gant. Third is Cale Yarborough. Fourth is Terry Labonte. Fifth is Bill Elliott. And sixth, Darrell Waltrip. Seventh spot, Tim Richmond. Eighth is Ron Bouchard. Ninth is Bobby Allison.
Bouchard got by Allison.
Joe Ruttman. 11th, Ben Parsons. 12th, Kyle Petty. 13th is Lake Speed. And 14th is Richard Petty. We have had two.
So Richard Petty's now last car in the lead lap. Yeah, Petty's car just seemed to have faded.
Involving Jerry Bowman and J.D. McDuffie out in turn number 2, and the other for a spin involving Clark Dwyer. And this battle for the lead is continuing. Second place now being contested. Harry Gant and Cale Yarborough.
Earlier in the race, Ron Bouchard.
Sure, those tuning in. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to the stream. Make sure to, of course, hit the like button, subscribe, and follow us on our social medias in the description below if you're watching us on YouTube. Ron Bouchard there.
Bouchard stayed out a couple of extra laps, and it paid off. He was able to get back on the lead lap. Not only back on the lead lap, but he's been moving up slowly but surely. The Massachusetts
Man, Bouchard's having a great race.
Involved in a moving company back home in the Northeast, and Bouchard has been creeping up toward the front.
Bouchard's only win was at Talladega. I'm pretty sure it was either 82 or 83.
The sixth running car of Darrell Waltrip. Trails them by about 3 football.
No, in the Grand National or Winston Cup Series. Yeah, he was the. If you remember, Bouchard was the one that passed Darrell Waltrip and Terry Labonte 3 wide at the line.
In the late model sportsman ranks, he's won a race.
He's 10th in points at the time. That's crazy. I didn't know that.
To win every time out recently in the late model sportsman division. Ron Bouchard could still well be heard from yet this afternoon near the front of this race.
Ron, 35 years old from Pittsburgh.
You know what I thought of, Mike, just now?
Back up front and check on
A great video idea.
they haven't changed
And
in order in the
that
last
video
few
idea is ranking NASCAR drivers by, like, the best NASCAR driver from each state of the U.S. Like, which ones are the best from each state.
Yeah, I love that idea.
I was thinking of that. I think that's a pretty cool idea.
He almost came out of nowhere. Richmond is another guy whose last pit stop really served him well. He had pitted twice.
Have to do some research, of course, to get the driver names and everything, but I'm sure he could come up with something.
Richmond seems to be getting a little stronger as this weight race wears on. He has pitted 4 times, by the way.
We probably shouldn't leak them over the screen, but we already leaked one.
There they are, 6th and 7th.
Whip it out
Tim
or
Richmond,
cut it out.
and behind him,
That's
Darrell
fine.
Waltrip. Tim Richmond, formerly from Ashland, Ohio, former Indianapolis 500 Rookie of the Year, now making his home.
What time is it? At the time of the recording, it is midnight Eastern time. And we are halfway, we're over halfway through the video.
About 10 hours. Yeah.
Welcome to the life. I've worked tomorrow too, but it's later in the afternoon.
Richmond likes this racetrack. He's number 10 on a list of all-time leading laps here at Pocono, and 7th in money's won. And he's only raced
every weekend.
4 or 5 times. So Tim Richmond has really responded well to this triangle here in the mountains of Pocono.
Now they've gotten a little more spread out here. Talked earlier in the race.
I was going to say a joke, but it wouldn't be very suitable for the video, so I can't say, well, I want to have one joke I just came up with. But anyway.
I can imagine kind of what you would think of.
No, I just have a pretty funny joke.
No, that's what I'm saying. I would find it funny, but of course it's inappropriate for the YouTube.
No, the thing is, right, it is sort of inappropriate, but it's kind of funny. But it's nothing bad, so don't worry, people.
Oh, so it would be appropriate for a video.
Well, the thing is, I'm not going to say it on stream or in this video because it's about racing. So let's get back to the race.
I got just a little bit.
Johnson's car and snatched the pole away from Haas Ellington and crew. Haas, of course, the crew chief on Lake Speed's car. Lake Speed has held on to the lead lap. He's running at 14.
I think this is like 26 lead changes now.
The 14 cars that are on the lead lap are all within about a half a lap of each other. Make that about a third of a lap. So it's 14 very competitive.
Here comes Gann. He's trying to get under Earnhardt again, kind of like earlier.
And he does.
Off the lead lap. And up front, they're going to go like the start of the race.
Oh, they make contact.
Gotta be very
now he's cleared him.
Not much room to hold on.
Kale's now going to go underneath him.
You see Kale dirt tracking on his
It looks like every single person in the stands is standing up.
Here comes Yarborough too. What is happening to Dale Earnhardt?
There's Labonte. 3 wide per second.
Turn number 1, that's
Oh, that was close.
Yarborough got him.
If that was an next-gen car, I bet you someone would have turned somebody and they would have went head on into the wall.
Probably.
This is great.
Terry Labonte and Dale Earnhardt. Now Bill Elliott also in the fray.
Looks like the damage had stopped a little bit for Earnhardt, at least for a lap.
Suddenly dropping back to 5th. They go out of turn number 2 once again.
I'm pretty sure this is the first time Elliott's actually gone to the top 4.
At the halfway point, 100 laps completed. Now Bill
He's trying to
Elliott
get past Earnhardt.
show some muscle as he challenges 3rd spot of Dale Earnhardt. Off of the 3rd turn, here they come for the completion of lap number 100. And at the halfway point, the leader is Harry Gant, then Cale Yarborough.
We're halfway there. Oh!
And Terry Labonte, followed by Darrell Waltrip.
They'll take behind.
Only 5 cars have dropped out of this race. 2 because of a crash.
Well, didn't continue, but...
As I watch these lead cars, Bob, I'll
I
still feel that Bill Elliott is the hot setup in that.
Seemed like Pocono is not boring.
Well, back in the 80s, it wasn't boring.
Jack the weight around, change the tires, you can come up with a different stagger. Lots of things can happen. You can have an altogether different race car.
The yellow car that's on the inside, I've seen them get lapped like every 10 laps, or every 5 laps. I don't know who is in that yellow car, but they get lapped a lot.
Would be Bill Elliott. It's looking pretty strong, even though we have not seen him lead yet.
Another lead change, Yarborough again.
Front continues. We have seen these cars, all 5, running nose to tail and side by side for the last.
Imagine I do another greatest NASCAR passes video next parts, and they're all from this race. There's like 10 of them.
Hey, what it do? Shorty, what it do?
And then it just shows this race 10 straight parts in a row. Gets unfollowed. It's just 20 people following me because of it. That'd be kind of funny. You know, I actually lost like 30 followers this past week. Yeah, and I don't even know why. Just 30 randomly. I don't know if they're bots. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how many of my followers are bots. But, you know, Instagram has bots that come and go. So who knows? Top 10 has not changed. From 6 to 10 has not changed at all.
And 14th is Richard Petty. Those 14 cars are on the lead lap. Lap down in 15th spot is David Pearson subbing for Neil Bonnet.
I actually hit my knee on the desk and it made the mouse move.
Is Sterling Marlin. 18th.
Did it again.
Bobby Hillin Jr.
We're about 1 hour left in the video, so if I were to guess, we only have maybe one more yellow.
Those are the top 20 at the end of 105 laps. There is Cale Yarborough, who right now is in.
Whoa, there's the 31. Hello there.
Well, there's a couple of ways you can set up a race car. One is to set it up so that the nose is more likely to break than the tail.
And in Cars 3, you set up a bomb.
It's a comfortable way to drive the car because if you start to lose it, just get out.
Do you remember that from Cars 2?
Yeah.
Cale Yarborough, on the other hand, sets his car up loose.
Elliott's pitting. We're getting close to Green 5 pit stops anyways.
It's a very uncomfortable car to drive because when it goes, baby, it's gone. But it's also the fastest way to set up a race car. So what Cale has been doing is adjusting his
now
car
since
all day
we're
long
thinking of
with
topics
just the right amount of loose,
after
therefore
this.
just the right amount of speed. The adjustments have been minor. He'll be coming in here very shortly for another routine stop. He's going to take on some tires. He's going to make a minor adjustment and try to go quicker. Routine stops are now beginning.
So the topic I was thinking of next is who do you think's one of the, like, just name some drivers you think that are overrated.
Bill was one of those running with the top 5, but now he has made the pit stop. There is Cale Yarborough onto the north straightaway.
I think of these on the top of my head sometimes.
There is
Let me think.
Cale not coming in this time, but pit
Whoa.
stop will be occurring here in the next few minutes.
What was that?
Couple of back markers.
I got one. Di Benedetto.
As we continue
Okay.
to watch the action on the racetrack, Tim Brickman is also coming in.
Deegan.
In 6th position, he screeches to a halt, and the crew begins to go to work on the right side of the number 20.
There was one I was thinking of. This one may be a wild one, but I'm going to say Johnny Sauter.
That's a good one.
I mean, he was a pretty solid driver, but I just think people make him out to be a better truck driver than he was.
What about Matt Kraft? I know he has but two of those have, or not two of them, but some of those have been because of the crap playoff format.
Yeah. Well, Crafton was undoubtedly. I think Crafton was a really solid driver. Of course, he's not as good as he once was, but I don't think he's overrated.
That man wash.
I would say there was one driver I was thinking of that was overrated, but I think who it was again. Oh, Riley Herbst.
I feel like a lot of people don't give Riley Herbst enough credit because he does get top 10 sometimes, but he also wrecks a lot, so I don't know.
Dale Earnhardt's been having some really fast stops compared to some of these other guys, other crews. Let me think of a driver from the 90s that was overrated. Let me think. Well, I will say Juan Pablo wasn't really that great of a NASCAR driver, so that's overrated.
One of the tracks that is not as familiar to all these Grand National drivers.
Penske drivers, let me think. Penske drivers overrated? I don't know. Blaney's okay. I mean, Blaney sometimes gets overhyped, I think, but he's not a bad driver.
I do not think he's overrated.
I don't think he's overrated either. I just think he's overhyped.
Yeah, and he's all by himself. Bobby Hillin isn't even in front of him this time. Joey Knuckles on the right front, working like mad to get that tire.
I would say an underrated driver was Robbie Gordon, but then again, sometimes Robbie Gordon was an idiot on the track.
Right.
Like, he was just causing problems sometimes, and he got into a lot of on-track stuff. Interactions or altercations on the track. Bill Elliott may pass Yarborough here if he doesn't get up to speed.
Benny Parsons, who is running in the top 10, has made his pit stop. He's back.
Oh, Yarborough's going to keep that spot over Elliott.
At the end of Long Pond straightaway. There he is, Cale Yarborough.
Do you think Greg Biffle was overrated? I think maybe.
Not really. I mean, I know he was a great driver, but people do overhype him a little too much.
Yeah, I mean, and also, like, the last, like 5 years of his career, he only won, like, twice. Or 3 times.
Yeah, like, 15 and 16, especially, he was overrated.
Here comes Cale.
But the thing with the beast on Michigan.
Also leaving the pit area now. And Cale Yarborough and Bill Elliott both get by before Gant comes out. There goes Gant by. Here
Darrell Waltrip's been slowly closing in on Gant, so maybe Waltrip may be in the top 6. Bobby Allison stayed out right now.
Story, Larry, that we haven't talked about today. The fact that Bobby Allison has been stretching the fuel mileage about as far as it can be stretched in the last few races.
Well, Bob, it's been amazing. They are getting 20% more, 15 to 20% more miles per gallon than all of the other racing teams. You expect to get 4.
He raced last season.
Yeah, in 83. He also won the championship in 83.
Miles per gallon, and it's been a real advantage. It is a real
You know what's crazy, Mike? I think I told you this, but you know Will Power? He actually has been liking a lot of my posts recently. Like, not even on the Allison account, but on my personal and the Savage NASCAR one. He's liked a couple of them randomly. I'm like, that's a surprise. He doesn't follow me, but it's kind of cool. I'm like, there's Will Power. Like, I'm surprised he's liking NASCAR stuff, but that's cool. Maybe Will Power wants to be in NASCAR. Maybe. It would be cool to see him do a NASCAR race.
To the point question and a to the point answer. Bobby Allison.
I was trying to go for the 500, which I'm really excited to give it.
And he is still out there, and because of the fact that he has not pitted for the second time, he is in the lead. Second place now is Cale Yarborough, 111 laps completed.
Do you think Elliott Sadler was overrated?
After these messages.
A little.
Jenkins, Larry
Very Xfinity driver and a decent cup driver.
On ESPN, the Diamond Mine.
Now, Mike, he picked Bobby Allison to win, and he's been stretching his fuel out, and he's leading in a bunch of laps here.
Number 22, Miller High Life Nygaard Buick. He has not made his second pit stop. Is anticipated to do so momentarily. More on this fuel situation from Dick Berggren.
Well, one of the things that has everybody in the garage area worried about Bobby Allison is not only that he's getting excellent fuel mileage, but that
now imagine how cool it would be if they had onboards in this race.
Speaking, when fuel mileage improves, the power
Dude,
that
that'd
the
be
engine
lit.
has got doesn't quite go as well. But Allison seems to have as much poke coming out of the corner as anybody. That's horsepower, and he's got far better fuel mileage than anyone.
Well, since we're talking about Pocono, I'll let him finish.
Right now, the crew is about prepared for him to come in. They are anticipating his
Here
arrival.
he comes, Dick. Yes, here he comes.
And here he comes. Allison now heading down the long pit road. Everything
Look at this, how fast he's coming at them.
Gary Nelson is giving 2-tire signal. The brand new tires, they'll probably go on the outside of the car, almost certainly. Wayne Bumgardner with one of the tanks of fuel ready to go in the back. And here they are, Allison's gang, going to work on the number 22.
Did he got 100?
On Allison, let's get a good stop here, team. 22 team.
A few years ago, they would have said that was impossible, Larry.
Oh no.
Oh,
that was faster than Earnhardt's two-tire stop.
But these guys have worked on the fuel mileage thing for a long, long time.
What do you think about that, Mike?
ESPN broadcast last year, in which we talked about
He maybe gained two or three spots off of that.
They've been working on fuel specifics and the cylinder heads and the exhaust systems. While a lot of people put their time into just
I wonder how he's going to cycle out. I don't know if he'll be in the lead, but he may be in the top 5.
Fuel mileage, but he was in the pits for a very short time too. The 12.8-second pit.
Yeah, there's the leader, so he's definitely not in the lead.
Bobby Allison. Now back up front. Here we are with Cale Yarborough and Bill Elliott now running first and second.
Labonte's
off
third.
The third turn. 114 laps have been completed. Still anybody's race, and we've got a long way to go.
Long way to go. It's not that far.
Back at Pocono,
Oh!
where the battle for
I thought he was
the
going to
lead
hit him for a
resumes.
second.
This time it's Bill Elliott challenging Cale Yarborough. Bill Elliott, the 28-year-old from Dawsonville,
Now, since we're
Georgia,
talking to,
running
since
strong
we're at
today,
Pocono,
now finds himself right
I
behind the leader
haven't brought up this
and
topic
challenging
yet,
for
but
first spot.
NSCS is at Pocono again this year at this upcoming season, and of course, last year's Pocono race was really solid, and Hector won that one. It was his second career win. And the Pocono race, NSCS Pocono race in season 7 was pretty exciting. We saw a lot of good battles and lead changes. It was a long race because there was some accidents, but what is your expectations for Pocono?
That should be a good race.
I think, well, you've been up at the front a couple times at Pocono in the series, so I think you definitely will be a threat to win. Hey, thanks for the follow. Really appreciate it. And for those watching, of course, thank y'all so much for tuning in. We are about 60% through this race. This is the 1984 NASCAR race at Pocono. Good battle right now between Cale Yarborough and Bill Elliott for the lead.
The city of Jackson, Michigan has for this team Bill Elliott, and boy, I'll tell you, he is right in the thick of it. We've been watching him for about 40 laps here today, commenting that we feel he's running as strong as anything.
Right now, I'm thinking Yarborough is going to win the race just because of how strong he's been. But I did pick Darrell to win, and Mike picked Bobby Allison to win this race.
It is a good chance, too.
Labonte does too. Labonte's up there in third. Gann and Earnhardt are probably battling for fourth right now.
7th is Darrell Waltrip. 8th is Ron Bouchard. 9th, Allison. 10th is Benny Parsons. 11th, Joe Ruttman. 12th is Kyle Petty. 13th is Lake Speed. And 14th is Richard Petty. Kyle Petty in car number 7 has run well this year.
Kyle Petty is almost a lap behind. But then again, as I mentioned, there's only 14 on the lead lap.
Race last weekend at Riverside, California. He was 8th, also finished 8th at Martinsville. So Kyle Petty is having a very good season.
Bobby had to qualify in the second day. He started from 25th position, but he's been able to hang on to the lead lap. Matter of fact, he's running a couple of positions ahead of Daddy Richard right now. Kyle has been out there and had a very uneventful
Did he just call another man Daddy? Wait, hey yo.
His best career finish here at Pocono goes all the way back to 1980 when he finished.
I'm surprised my phone hasn't died yet.
Yes.
Usually it dies pretty quick, but right now it's doing pretty solid. When we started, it was at like 60%. Right now it's on 37, so that's pretty good. If I'm on social media, the phone battery drains pretty fast. Obviously, I turned the Wi-Fi off on my phone.
Kyle, of course, 24 years of age from Randleman, North Carolina. There's Cale Yarborough, the number 20 Hardy Chevy, showing the lead. Now has been able to stretch out the lead just a little bit over Bill Elliott.
Another green flag run, question mark? Well, it has been a green flag run for about 20 or, no, The last yellow was like lap 60 or something, so we're about to be like 60 laps green.
Car number 43, the STP Pontiac. Richard looking for win number 200, and it doesn't look like he's going to achieve it today. Here's Dick Burke.
And I'm with Billy Hodges.
There's Sterling Marlin, 95.
Kind of tough pit stop a little while ago.
Yeah, when we stopped Richard, he kind of come in a little bit, overshot the pit, and I carried that pitboard. And when it did, I come around the left front and just hit my knee on it, banged it up. I've kind of heard it playing football a long time ago, and just sometimes when I hit it just right, that's the way it happens.
Are you going to be able to go back over the wall?
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't miss it for the world. It wouldn't bother me a bit.
What determination. That's the W crew member.
Billy Hodges with a little bit of a problem and a minor injury, but nothing to keep him away from the pit board in the Richard Petty pit. There's the leader, Cale Yarborough. Again, he's been able to
What's that noise, Mike? I keep hearing a
They're now separated by
I'm putting my chest.
which is
Pro-
considerable distance on a 2.5-mile course, traveling at the speeds that they are traveling. Right behind Bill Elliott.
Labonte's catching Elliott for
Terry
second.
Labonte. So Labonte now is looking to the inside of Bill Elliott, going into turn number 1, and looking for the opportunity to go back into second spot.
Looking for the opportunity to
Elliott
strike.
and Labonte chasing that man up right there on the left-hand side of your screen, Cale Yarborough. Despite the fact that he competes in about half the races, he's only run half the races so far this year. He's number 3 on the 7-Eleven mileage leaderboard. He has the 3rd highest number of laps led. He trails Bobby Allison, interestingly enough, and you might have guessed it, Darrell Waltrip. By the way, the 4th and 5th place drivers in the most laps, I think that most miles led, is Benny Parsons 4th and Terry Labonte 5th, and there is the interval among the first 3 cars.
The sun continues to shine down here at Pocono.
I wonder how much.
Easier than it was. You can perhaps see from that shot not only the heat, but the fact that it's just a little hazy now.
I wonder if it got hotter or colder in temperature-wise. It was 91 at the start of the race.
Bob, with this heat, I gotta believe that
It probably did get hotter.
be a factor in this race. Listen to this. Here's sort of an interesting statistic. We have only had 6 caution laps in the entire race.
6 caution laps. That's not much.
Rapidly approaching the 2/3 mark of the race, and only 6 of these laps have been under yellow. Lap 6.
The laps have been going by pretty fast, in my opinion, because I've seen some Pocono races before that it just seemed like the race was forever. And that's probably because maybe could be because the commercials weren't cut out compared to this, but this seems like it's been going by pretty quick.
We have 77 laps to go in this race for Grand National Stock Cars. Cale Yarborough, Bill Elliott, and Terry Labonte are up front, and we'll be back.
Well, the fans are sitting down, but they were standing up a lot earlier.
Turn number 1, and Elliott assumes the lead.
Elliott just took the lead out of nowhere. Huh. Now Labonte's joined the fray.
We will see if he is the stronger of these 3 cars now that he has the lead for the first time. Bill Elliott.
For some reason, I have goosebumps on my right arm, and I don't know why. Maybe it's because it's a little chilly in here. I don't know. I turn my air off, or I turn my air conditioner off whenever I stream because it makes noise, and it'll mess up the audio.
11 drivers, as 125 laps have now been completed.
So, what would you give this race at the moment out of 1 out of 10? You said a 9?
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you, man. I gotta go with the 9, man. This one's really good.
Here they are off of turn number 1, driving uphill to get onto the Long Pond straightaway. Elliott, Yarborough, and Labonte.
Here's an interesting thought to project ahead to the end of the race. I know it's quite a ways away, but everybody stopped between lap 105 and 110. And Elliott, Bob, that time was way down in the rocks there coming through the tunnel corner.
I'm pretty sure in the Riverside reaction you gave that race the 1987 Riverside race. I think you gave that one like an 8.5.
I did give it an 8.5.
So, right now, this race is better than that one.
Yeah.
With just 10 laps to go. If we continue to run under green and don't have any lengthy yellows, we could have all the leaders pitting with just 10 laps to go, and that has happened here at Pocono in the past.
That'd be cool.
We've had some very exciting finishes in that regard.
You know, one thing that we talked to several.
I think it's Buddy Arrington right now that Elliott's at the lap.
You don't want to run out of fuel on this
Yep.
track. If you're competing on a half mile, you can coast around to the pits. If you're competing on a high bank racetrack,
then you're pretty much screwed. If you run out of gas on the back stretch or on the front stretch in Pocono, you're losing like 3 laps or 2 laps trying to get back to pit road. And your car will probably shut off. You won't make it all the way. I think there was an NSCS race one year where someone, I think it was Mick, ran out of gas on the last lap and he lost. I'm trying to remember who won that race. I think it was Felipe. But it was either him or some other driver that ran out of gas, and maybe the 27, but it was on the last lap in like season 5 or something. I'd have to go back and look to make sure.
And I'm with Kirk Shelmerdine, Dale Earnhardt's crew chief. Kirk, how are things going for you folks today?
We were talking about Kirk earlier. He's in the Hall of Fame, and there he is.
Our own race right now. Trying to figure the best type of setup we need for the sprint there at the end of the race.
How is the temperature inside the cockpit? What is Dale telling you?
He seems to be all right. He says it's really hot there, but it's not causing all that much problem right now.
That's Kirk Shelmerdine, Dale Earnhardt's crew chief.
And while the sweltering goes on outside, Larry and I and our statisticians up here are very
they just had the flex on them.
Provided by the Dana Corporation. We're in the Dana broadcast booth and have an excellent view of this 2.5-mile tri-oval here at
And so do we. We have an excellent view on the screen.
He's had 3 second-place finishes this year. His best finish at Pocono.
But you know what's a better view, though?
Richard Childress has
Either the spotter stand or inside the car.
Earnhardt has been among the leaders.
Imagine standing in turn 1 knowing there's no fence there and you're standing outside the turn 1 wall and, you know, seeing all that bad wrecks that happen here. I bet you that would be scary.
That would.
Maybe. Because at any moment a car could just lose it. And back then, well, in that one wreck that Greg Sachs had, he literally broke the wall when he hit it. So you could be pretty much killed if you stood too close to the wall and the car came through there.
You got to wonder if Dale thinks about the accidents that he has had here at Pocono. 2 very serious accidents over in turn number 1. You got to wonder whether he thinks about that.
Bill Elliott's seeming to stretch the lead a little bit on Cale.
And the race is in the hands of Bill Elliott. Second spot belongs to Cale Yarborough.
Gant's 5th. I haven't seen Gant blow 4th in a while.
5th place is Harry Gant. In 6th spot is Tim Richmond in car 27. Darrell Waltrip
Top 6 through 10th. Position 6 through 10th have been that same way for like 30 laps.
Benny Parsons is running 10.
Sorry, were you saying something? You cut out.
Said Ron Bouchard is an 8th.
Petty's going a lap down now in 14th.
And just now going 1 lap down, the bright orange and light blue number 43. You see it on the right-hand side of your screen. Yes, King Richard Petty was just lapped by Bill Elliott. Win number 200 slips a little further from his grasp. He is now 1 lap down with 67 laps to go, Bob.
Elliott looking good here with...
This is one of those NASCAR what-ifs. What if Richard Petty won his 200th race at a track like Pocono instead of Daytona? It'd be much more different. Because Daytona was a bigger track and it was a bigger event. So, that made it even bigger. But if he won his 200th race at like a Dover or Pocono, I wonder how much media coverage it would have gotten compared to Daytona.
It still would have gotten a lot, no doubt.
Yeah, but I don't think it would be as much. Plus, Daytona was just too. It was such a big moment. Also, the president was there too.
Right, Reagan.
The way our luck's been, I'm just not going to make any predictions.
That's Ernie Elliott from the car number 9. Bill Elliott, his brother on the racetrack, is leading right now.
Well, we have seen Bill experience some rather bad luck.
There's Bill, the better Elliott.
I remember him running very well at Michigan last year and coming up driving.
Bob, Bob, I tell you,
That
you
is
gotta
golden
like
boy
those
of a
guys. I
son.
think there was one team that all
Chase.
the others would be happy to see win a race. It would probably be these guys.
Well, we gotta be
Also
careful.
mention,
RJ
yes,
Rogers
Joe
could
Rupp.
come after us.
Everybody likes
We
these
don't.
fellas. They're
I'm still,
awful
I'm
kind,
still
courteous
over
country
there,
gentlemen.
but
They work very hard. They have come a long ways in their racing
Shaking
career,
in our
starting
boots.
literally from nothing. They
As
put together
Kale's
one of the
gaining
top
a little
teams
bit
in the
more on
trail,
Bill.
and a lot of people, I think, like to see Bill Elliott win.
Right now, Bill Elliott has a rear-view mirror full of Cale Yarborough, who has suddenly
Oh.
closed up the interval
Is that,
between himself
yeah, that was a
and
Bonnie
leader.
going underneath
So
the
Yarborough
feet.
right now on the back bumper of Bill Elliott as Terry Labonte in third spot, also moving to the inside of the racetrack to put a lap on Richard Petty. Yarborough and Bill Elliott in turn number 1.
Yarborough, man of just enormous experience, and I tell you, that really gives
I don't think
him
anyone
a
else
couple of
outside the
wild
top
cards.
5 has a chance of winning this race unless something crazy happens, like a yellow or someone runs out of gas. Or a lot of them do.
Compensate for a mile and a half or 2 miles per hour versus anybody else in the speedway. That's a really big.
Kale was really loose out that corner, but he has a good run here. Here he goes.
Yarborough
That's him
inside.
again?
Turn number 2 moves into the lead once again.
Bomb
Only
bomb.
6 cars
6.
out of
Okay,
40
so who are the other cars?
are out of this race. They come off of turn number 3. Elliott
Didn't
moves
say who all the
side by
drivers
side
were
with Yarborough.
that were
They
out.
cross the stripe, and Cale Yarborough with just about a fender advantage on Bill Elliott, but Elliott has the inside and the better line going into turn 1. And
Man,
grabs
Elliott's
back the
so
lead.
strong on the inside lane.
State police have estimated the crowd here at 95,000.
95,000, that's pretty good for Pocono back then.
National race.
Yeah, for real.
They
They
are
could
seeing
get
some
a crowd
tremendous
nearly today.
racing here today. It's going on all race long. We had 5 cars battling for top spot before the second series of
A lot of the
race.
Pocono races, actually, I've gotten, like, from what I've seen, like from the 90s Pocono races I've watched, there was like at least 100,000 or so. There were just so many people in the campgrounds and in the infield and the stands. It was absolutely packed.
What's the capacity?
That's a good question. It's over 100,000, I think.
There is some of the 95,000
Yeah, look at that.
people that the
I have
state
not
police
really
are
taken the
saying
time to
are
look at the
gathered
stands
at the
today.
Pocono Raceway to watch the
Well, of
good
course,
old
they
boys
probably
and
got rid of
girls
some of them. That's like
North
down there
North.
where those people are on the extra stands. I don't think they have those anymore. I think they've kind of reconstructed some of it.
Riverside, California.
Second generation race driver, the number 71 of Bobby Gerhardt from Lebanon.
That's who was in that yellow car that I saw kept getting passed earlier. That's Bobby Gerhardt. He was a really good ARCA driver.
As a matter of fact, one of the last guys I ever saw run a modified, a full body Don Edmonds type modified, no fenders of course, against sprint cars. Bobby Gerhardt Jr. had a serious crash here a year ago in turn number 3 that tore the back end off the race car, but he has returned here in 1984. He'll run
I have to go look
the
that up
5
later. He
races
said he had a crash here in '83.
his potential rookie status.
How'd I end up finding that? Just seeing how bad it was. They said it was a bad wreck. Maybe a missed entry in my Pocono video. You notice? You know the crash video I did on Pocono is my most viewed video on my channel. Yeah, it is. It still gets views today. It's not as many views as it was getting, but it's still getting views this month, or this past month. Well, Gerhardt didn't really have much of a NASCAR career. I mean, he did run a lot in ARCA. Gerhardt was a talented driver.
Harry Gant in 5th, Tim Richmond in 6th, Darrell Waltrip 7th, 8th is Ron Bouchard, 9th is Bobby Allison, 10th is Benny Parsons, 11th
Bobby Allison better get it moving.
is the number 1 of Lake Speed, and 13th is Kyle Petty in car number 7.
I'm surprised Bouchard's able to hold off Benny Parsons and Bobby Allison, especially considering the equipment Bouchard was in. But then again, Bouchard was really good in the early 80s. He was pretty solid. And his brother Ken Bouchard was the Rookie of the Year, I think, in '88. Here goes Benny.
Well, the question is, how about Allison? Can he go the distance on one more stop while everybody else is taking two?
Huh.
He stopped at lap 114. That would mean he would have to go 86 laps.
Playing the fuel strategy
well
game.
Over 180 miles. And I don't know. That might be kind of close. Allison perhaps has a shot at it. We'll just have to wait and see when he does stop here for actually his fourth pit stop of the day, although the second one came a little shorter than usual because there was a long caution flag. But yeah, there's a possibility that Allison's fuel mileage could win this race at this point if we go the rest of the distance without a yellow flag.
And right behind Bobby Allison is Benny Parsons, the 42-year-old from Ellerby, North
60
Carolina.
laps to go.
On Atlanta this year, was 5th in the Talladega 500 and was 2nd last weekend at Riverside, subbing for Neil Bonnet. His other finishes this year at 27th at Darlington. That's a race we'll never forget, as Benny was on the pole for that race and coming out of turn number 2 on the very first lap, getting a little sideways, but then the car went away and he finished 27th. He was 29th at Daytona and 42nd in the World 600 at Charlotte.
It's interesting
There's
stats.
9 and 10, and here is 1 and 2.
Wow, so those guys, Benny and Allison were battling for 9th or so. They're about to get lapped by Elliott. So that means right now there's probably only like 10 cars on the lead lap.
Win number 200 will have to wait until another day.
I'm not surprised. It's a long green flag run, and at Pocono back then, there would not be that many cars on the lead lap if there wasn't many cautions. There's only been 2.
Turn number 2, it does not bring out a yellow, but Ron will be coming into the pit.
Yeah, he has damage. So.
Well, we were away. Bill Elliott, the race leader, who's been with Cale Yarborough again. That's Ron Bouchard coming in. The crew will check the car.
He's having such a good day. Now he may have some aero issues.
Was a routine pit stop.
Aero issues, it appears.
Or handling issues. Either one.
Statistically speaking, yes, Bobby Allison can
bring Buick back to NASCAR. Bring Buick. Nah, they would never bring Buick back, but. And Pontiac was really good for the sport too. That is a really good manufacturer.
Yeah, but they're just so old that I have not even heard about a new Pontiac, to be honest. With all due respect to Pontiac.
Allison may be winning it on economy.
Cale Yarborough leads. We've completed 145 laps. The attrition here,
we're about 3/4 through the race.
Day, not very significant. It has been over 60 laps since the last car, Jeff Bodine, dropped out of competition. So Cale Yarborough is on the lead, and here is number 17 of Clark Dwyer going very slowly up in turn number 3, and this could bring out a yellow if he stalls, but it
looks like he has a flat tire. Or he ran out of gas.
Clark Dwyer from Colorado Springs, Colorado, is moving very slowly into the pits. Could very well have run out of fuel, Larry.
I don't think they're going to throw the yellow for that.
There doesn't appear to be any damage, any smoke, or anything else irregular. And you'd commented earlier, Bob, about what happens when you run out of fuel on this racetrack. There's no banking that you can drive off of and give yourself a 30 or 40 mile an hour coast back to the pits. Dwyer did make, by the way, all the way back to his assigned pit stall. So apparently it was just a fuel problem. The crew is changing tires on Clark Dwyer's car, and everything looks to be routine except the fact that the engine had died on him.
Cale Yarborough, an amazing statistic there. 80 wins in Grand
Smooth
National
operator.
competition, and he right now is leading, looking for number 81. He is expected to be coming in for a pit stop very shortly. He is off of the accelerator right
there they
now
go.
and braking.
I don't think he's off the accelerator. He's moving pretty fast. He's zooming. Look at this. I thought he was going to hit that one car for a second.
Is out with the sign. Brooks is in right in front of him. One of the crew hustles, just gets their equipment out of the way, and here is Cale Yarborough. This you can leave.
Left sides, they were changing only right sides for the rest of the race. That's a good move.
They don't even have right side tires out ready. One of the gas cans is in. A little gas got splashed there.
Keep going, Kale.
They are full. Oh, there goes Yarborough, 14.74.
Pretty solid stuff. Oh, but Labonte got out before he did.
Terry Labonte also making a pit stop and getting out ahead of Cale Yarborough.
And Bill Elliott is already into turn number 1. Yarborough lost some.
Yeah, so Elliott's now the leader. Labonte's second, Yarborough's third.
Red roof and nose on Bill Elliott, but Yarborough lost ground to both Labonte and
Gant.
Bill Elliott on the stops.
Now, right now, Harry Gant is in the lead again, but remember, Harry has.
Oh yeah, when Gant pits, he's gonna lose the lead.
Very shortly. So at this point, Harry Gant is in the lead. 147 laps have been completed. We'll see if Harry comes in this time. He is in turn number 3. He is showing no sign of coming in. Harry Gant maintains the advantage here. Right behind him on the racetrack is Richard Eddy.
Well, Harry Gant.
Yeah, this one may come down to just field strategy, pit strategy here. Because some of these guys are going to have to pit another time. And some of them are going to try to stretch it out.
Getting himself into a position, Bob, by the way, where if he could stretch this few more laps, like 4 or 5 more laps, he might be in a position to go the rest of the race on this pit stop. Now, for Harry Gant, it's not nearly as much of a comfort margin as apparently it is for Bobby Allison, but Gant's also getting pretty good mileage out here today.
How many times have we seen this happen? All of a sudden, as we near the closing stages of the race, a guy by the name of Darrell Waltrip,
Waltrip,
the number 11 Budweiser Chevrolet, has suddenly put himself in contention. Darrell Waltrip is now in 4th spot, ahead of Cale Yarborough, but behind Terry Labonte and Bill Elliott and.
So Darrell Waltrip's now in the top 5 for the first time in a while.
Is not out of the competition. Darrell Waltrip.
I know Waltrip had been saving fuel earlier.
At least one race in each of the last 10 years on the trail. He's had 2 years, 1981 and 1982, in which he won 12 races each year. In the modern era, that is the last 10 seasons, Darrell Waltrip has won 60 times, and that ranks him second only to Cale Yarborough in most victories in the last decade.
Yarborough, the leader in Winston Cup points, with 13 races completed. Darrell in this race started in 4th position, qualifying at 150.484 miles an hour.
There's a little camaraderie today between.
So right now, who do you think has the best shot at winning?
Read about in tomorrow's newspaper. Joe Rutt's daughters are back at the hotel puppy sitting.
Bill Elliott.
A brand new puppy in the Waltrip household, and
you think Bill Elliott?
Joe Rutt's daughter
yes.
is babysitting today.
I wouldn't go against that, but I don't know. Cale has been Cale. The only thing is, anything can happen with these guys with fuel, and if Allison gets too far behind, I still don't think he'll be able to catch up in time if he stays out.
Allison is probably a non-factor right now.
50 laps to go, and I'll repeat again, not to beat a dead horse, as we go back up and look at Harry again. All these people, with the exception
Gant has been stretching his fuel out, and he has not pitted yet.
Going to have to stop again. We're talking 125 miles.
But Cale is catching them, though. And Labonte.
Elliott and Labonte, before this race is over, they're going to have to stop again. Right now, everybody except Allison and Gant are hoping for a yellow. If we have one yellow flag now between here and the end of the race, all the bets and all this conversation we have about stopping for fuel, it's all off.
The combatants for 3rd spot.
I think we have like 50 to go right now, if not less.
Going into turn number 1, Harry Gant. He is being followed by Dick Brooks in car number 90. Dick has not had a real successful afternoon at this point.
So we have less than 50 because we were about the 3/4 mark.
There he is, right
so
Harry Gant.
maybe we have 30 to go. If I were to guess, 30ish.
Dick Brooks is ranked 16th in the points in 1983, and Pocono was never really treated him that well. His best career finish was 5th.
No, I'm tripping. We do have around 50 to go.
All right. We will take this break and be right back with more action from the Van Diamond.
Yep, 50 to go. Yep, 49 actually. Oh,
exactly what the leaders
We got a yellow,
insignificant,
maybe.
meaning by that no accident. Yellow.
That's
Doug
definitely
Everett
yellow.
apparently out of fuel between turns
He ran
2
out
and
fuel
3.
and put it in the
That
grass. Here
brings out
comes
the
Gant.
yellow, but it also brings in nearly everybody.
Everyone's gonna pit here, and that basically puts Allison out of it unless he makes a charge on the restart. Gant, he's gonna lose spots.
153, 47 laps to go. Can they go the rest of the distance on the fuel that they're getting right now?
Most of them, no. 117 and a half miles remain, and nobody, with the exception of Allison, and we never really got a real solid fix on Gant.
Now I wonder if everyone is gonna come in here to put more fuel in and go for the distance. Looks like they are.
Everyone is close by.
Here's Bobby Allison coming in to make his pit stop. He waited longer than anybody else and caught the yellow flag for it. They're going to put on right side tires at least.
Man, I really like that 22 Buick car.
Yeah, in fact, one of the more iconic paint schemes in NASCAR.
Allison will be able to go all the way to the end without stopping again. Realize that all the fuel systems are regulated. No one is allowed any more than 22 gallons in the fuel cell, and that includes Bobby Allison. So they're putting everything in here that they can possibly.
Looks like he's throwing a water bottle out of the car or something.
Right off. Because if anybody got a shot, he does. 4 tire change, off goes Bobby.
So the question.
Bobby's car seems to be more of a. I don't even know if his car is a better short run car or long run car, because in the short run doesn't seem as fast as like Yarborough, Elliott, or Gant, but during the long run he just isn't really patient.
We have 46 laps left in this race.
And we have yellow on the course.
So if Bobby wants to win here, he's going to have to be more aggressive. He's going to have to go for it more on the short beginning of the short run before he gets the long run. And that's caution number 3, by the way. So I picked 40 at 6. We'll see if we have another one, but I doubt it.
At Pocono International Raceway. Now let's get another update.
Oh no, it's shirtless men.
Oh,
I mean, it is hot there. Oh, here we go to restart. Look at this. This is 3 wide.
Thank you, David. We are back to racing. Just as you join us, the green comes out.
I think that's Terry Labonte.
Is in the lead, and he has now moved around Bobby Allison, and we believe that Bobby Allison is a lap down because
Allison's a lap down?
Strategy that involved pit work. Bobby Allison, although he is second on the racetrack behind Terry Labonte, we believe him to be a lap
Scoring
down.
error,
Let's
maybe?
find out if the crew believes that. We go to Dick with the crew chief on the Bobby Allison.
There's
car,
Elliott
Gary
the
Nolan.
second. And that's why I told you about earlier. They shouldn't allow. That's why they had the pit road closed or whatever when a yellow first comes out. Because they kept having these scoring issues.
How about the fuel situation? Can you go the rest of the way with what you have?
We should be able to. It's going to be close. It's very close, but we were planning on stopping on lap 150.
Is that like speed up back up there in the top 5 again? Or is he a lap down?
To what we were hoping to get anyway.
Bobby's leading right now, but here comes Bill.
All right, and Bobby is second on the racetrack behind Terry Labonte.
I think Bobby's second, but they're saying he was a lap down.
Bill Elliott. There's the leader, Terry
You're
Labonte.
good.
And the number 44
You're good.
Piedmont Airlines
It's
Chevy.
confusing.
And there is second, third, and fourth. Down Long Pond straightaway. Now we're getting word from NASCAR scoring that Bobby Allison is not a lap down.
Oh,
but
so Allison is in second.
spot.
Okay.
So we'll continue to check out this situation.
Huh.
Well,
I
he
knew
wouldn't
he
be in
did get
second
lapped, so
spot,
I was
but he is on the lead
confused.
lap.
Now he's battling for second with Elliott and Kale, 3 wide.
Racing going into turn number 3.
Allison's got to be really aggressive here to hold these guys off.
2 abreast.
Because Elliott and Yarborough have had the fastest cars in the second half of this race.
Is in there, Elliott is in there, Allison is in there. Boy, they're really
Waltrip's
stepping
back
coming
up
down
there.
the front chute. There's
I see him.
Waltrip dropping down low. You see
Earnhart's kind of falling back a little bit.
Great racing going into turn number 1 as Bill Elliott emerges from that pass.
Whoa, there's
In
contact.
second spot with Yarborough and Bobby Allison trailing. There is Bill Elliott as they
Here
come
goes
off of
Gann,
turn
I
number
think,
2
now the third.
and head down Long Pond straightaway. Terry Labonte
Man,
has
Allison's
opened up
car's
quite a bit of
starting.
racetrack.
He does
Maybe
not
go
have a
back
very
to
fast
second
car
place
compared to some of those guys
And now
at the
Gary
moment.
Gann and Cale Yarborough race side by side down into turn number 2, the tunnel turn.
Well, we get another
Gant passed like 4
Bob,
cars in like half a
is
lap.
on the lead lap with the leaders. Back to this fuel situation. You're going to have to go about 115 miles on this load of fuel to go the rest of the distance without stopping.
So if we don't caution, we may see some fuel strategy, people running out towards the end. We'll see.
And this is Cale Yarborough's crew chief. Waddell, have you got enough fuel to go all the way?
About 2 laps short.
Waddell Wilson, I think.
And the 22 cars, there's only 2 that can make it without
Yep.
having to stop.
How are you going to handle that fuel stop?
Well, I'll just wait right now and see and hope we can get a caution between now and the end of the race.
Wait and see it, car 28.
Oh, you knew Dale Inman?
Cale Yarborough has been up front.
I don't think I told you this, but I met him earlier this year. Or, I met him at the end of 2022. Oh, no, we got a problem with Bouchard.
Is slowing down Long Pond straightaway.
He was running so well in this race, too.
Fight and scratch and claw to get back up into the lead lap. One of the early yellows, he stayed out 2 laps longer than everybody, made a quick stop to get caught back up on the lead lap. He touched the fence about 20 laps ago, and apparently they have still not solved all their problems. He's obviously under power, Bob, but
this was
oh, so he got
Taylor
sideways.
Ron Bouchard got a little bit sideways and into the grass between turns 1 and 2.
I think this was after the initial accident. Obviously working with
That's pretty good save, considering. But yeah, that damage earlier from the walls made his car much, his handling's way worse than it was.
Conservatively is what I'm groping for the rest of this event.
39 laps to go.
39.
Labonte is the leader. Bill Elliott is second. Cale Yarborough is third. There's the leader, Labonte, headed for turn number 2. Running in 4th spot now is Tim Richmond in car number 27.
And Richmond's in 4th, I think is what they just said.
There is Labonte now coming off of the second turn.
So this is the first time Richmond's been in the top 5 in this race.
The race for third at Pocono. Harry Gant moves into 3rd spot.
Oh, and here comes Tim Richmond and Earnhart and Allison. Oh, wow, that was close.
Third turn and head for the long straightaway here at Pocono.
3 wide. Allison's behind Earnhardt.
Allison, they go 3 wide into turn number 1. Harry Gant followed by Cale Yarborough, then Dale Earnhardt, then Tim Richmond.
Man, I'm really enjoying all these battles in this race. It's been very cool. Where is it? Where is this Pocono now? We don't see it. We need more. We need more of this at Pocono.
Let's get over passes.
1 lap down to the leaders. Now, if he is also 1 lap down to Harry Gant, that may be his
Another
advantage.
crossover move here.
For his advantage, and Harry Gant swinging back and forth as he came out of turn.
Earnhardt may get underneath all 3 of them here. What a pass!
Earnhardt goes to the inside. He's side by side with Yarborough. Some great action here.
I've seen so many great passes in this race. Earnhardt with, yeah, Earnhardt there. Dude, I might have to include that one in the greatest passes series. He just blew by all 3 of them.
But there is a lot of good racing going on. Look at Allison to the inside of the racetrack.
Oh, Allison just squeezed in there. Dude, that was close. He cut right in front of Gant. And between, or right behind Richmond, that was like...
Everybody. Well, it was a good move, don't get me wrong, but... Oof. Today that will ruffle some feathers.
Today, Hamlin would cry about it on Twitter.
Probably.
Now, I want to see Ronnie Thomas's car. I'm pretty sure he's one of the 6 cars that are out of the race.
Oh, yeah. There's no doubt.
We'll have to look at the racing reference after the race.
Everybody else, unless somebody is really hiding a lot, cannot go. Nobody else has.
I don't think Labonte's going to make it. He's too far ahead right now.
This day.
It's like he's not even saving.
What will happen? It's like one of those.
Elliott too. Waltrip may be saving some. He's pretty far back. He's not like too far back, but he's back to the point where it looks like he's trying to
and it's going to be a cliffhanger for sure. Gant's crew thinks
Richmond's car was so bad earlier in the race, and he's been able to, the crew's adjusted on it, and he's been able to work his way in the top 4.
On the fuel situation. Certainly these guys that don't think they're going to make it are hoping upon hope that there's going to be a yellow flag somewhere along the line here.
A
The guys
yeller.
that think they can make it, hope and pray there will be no yellow flag.
Mike, do you say yellow or yeller?
Right now. The two
Yeller.
guys up front with 35 laps to go are Terry Labonte and Bill
I don't
Elliott.
got that
They're fairly close together
southern
at this
accent, so I
time.
can't say it like yellow.
I was going back and looking at the 87 Riverside reaction vid we did. Oh wow, look at the crowd standing up as it's happening. But and the part where you were doing the Mr. Krabs was so funny. It's so funny. He said something like, "Why do we open up? We have money." Or something. I don't remember what he said, but it was so hilarious. And Cam just started wheezing.
Y'all were talking about Mr. Krabs.
Yeah.
And of course, Harry Gant, one lap down, Bobby Allison, Lake Speed, Darrell Waltrip, Benny Parsons, and Joe Rutland, roughly in that order at this stage of the race.
Terry Labonte is looking for two.
Then again, as I mentioned, a little bit earlier in the video, thank y'all, of course, for tuning in. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe on the way to 1K, and obviously follow us down below in the description. Our socials are down there. And if this video gets to 10 likes, I will release a meme of Mike to my Instagram. So make sure to hit the 10 likes because it's a really good one. But anyways, this is a good battle for the lead.
We'll be back with more action from Pocono, Pennsylvania in just a moment. ESPN today with live coverage.
Oh, canceled! Canceled! There's a flag! Canceled! It's funny. About 30 laps to go here. Oh, Lake Speed's back in the top 10. I thought he got lapped. And Allison went from 2nd to 7th in like 10 laps. Definitely Allison does not have a very fast car right now. He could be trying to save.
Earnhardt and Allison is perhaps somewhat of a puzzling thing, but it has to do with when the pace car comes out. Sometimes if you pit early, as soon as the yellow comes out, that gives you an advantage. That is, if the pace car comes out right away also.
Well, the front two pulled away by thousands of yards.
Slower than normal, let's say, getting out. And the
So,
field continues to race around.
it's looking like those two are going to be battling out for the win unless they have to pit. Or they'll just run out of gas.
But that's our theory.
Either one, we'll see.
Allison just got caught in a time warp that involved the exact moment when the pace car did or did not go out, and it worked to their disadvantage in this particular case. However, these two guys had no such problem.
And also, Larry, you've still got to consider that Bobby Allison may be able to go the rest of the distance without a pit stop, and that could give him the advantage back.
Yeah, Gant's the guy really pulled off the coup.
Now, Mike did pick Bobby Allison to win, and I picked Darrell Waltrip. But right now, Allison may have that shot out of anyone that's trying to save.
In the last two stops, all they did was come down pit road, stop briefly, throw in more fuel, more gasoline. He kept topping off the tank. They knew exactly where they were.
Man, it seems like Elliott just, it looks like he's going to try a slingshot, but it doesn't seem like he is. He's all over him.
Again, move down the straightaway. At what those two cars there look almost like one, as Bill Elliott has himself tucked right under the back bumper of Terry Labonte.
And speaking about being tucked together and probably being in the same, is it a predicament? Is it the same advantage?
It looks like Gant's trying to stay safe now.
What we believe to be the trump cards, Harry Gant and Bobby Allison.
I think it was a couple minutes ago they were saying, they were talking to Gant's crew chief, and they're saying that they don't know if they can make it, so they're going to save.
Everybody up and down pit row is watching, even though they're not leading the race.
As we continue to watch the action on the racetrack, we study a little bit more in detail the point situation here in 1984. Now, at this time last year, there was a 169-point difference between
69,
first and
nice.
fifth. This year, there is only 103, and between first and 10th, there is only a 226-point difference. Last year, there was a 487-point difference. So the Winston Cup battle is a tight one, with 14 make that 13 races completed in 1984. There are the leaders, Terry Labonte and Bill Elliott, with now only 28 more laps around this 2.5-mile trial.
Labonte. I don't know why I said that. Anyways.
Pocono International Raceway. The average speed at this point.
Oh, it did go down a little bit because that last spin.
9 miles an hour. And the two up front are Terry Labonte and Bill Elliott. Then a little bit of race.
I think probably the lowest average speed I've seen on Racing Reference for a Pocono race is like 100 flat or something. Something like that matter because they had so many wrecks. I forgot what year it was. Yeah, it was just over 100. I don't remember which race it was, but it was one that had like a lot of yellows.
By the way, Richmond's stop was inevitable. Based on the mileage he was getting, he was going to have to stop again, so he has simply gotten it out of the way. Now you look to Darrell Waltrip. Darrell Waltrip stopped at lap 152. His best performance in terms of distance traveled before pitting.
Oh, 25 to go.
42 laps. So you add 152 and 142, and you come up with only 194. So nope, doesn't look like Waltrip can do it. Labonte is in the same boat. We're looking at Terry right now. Again, you keep coming back to the numbers 22 and 33 as the two people have shown the ability to go the distance. So we're in for some drama here. Somebody may run out of gas. More people are going to have to stop for sure. We don't know whether or not both Bobby Allis and Harry Gant can go the distance. This race is a long ways from over. And don't leave the set.
It looked like Dale about hit the wall there out that corner.
That's when it's all going to come up. That's when the numbers will appear.
Well, it's going to be difficult.
Well, Kel Yarborough is a little far back right now. I was saying earlier that he looked like the car to beat. And he's right now pretty far back from the leaders, so maybe he might be trying to save.
This one could very well be as exciting, and it probably isn't going to be an engine going away. It's going to be somebody running out of fuel in the final lap. But right now, Terry Labonte, the 27-year-old, who now makes his home in Trinity, North Carolina, is in the lead with Bill Elliott, the Georgia driver, pursuing him down the North straightaway. Tim Richmond in number 27, that we indicated, was running in third and fourth position just a few laps ago, but had to come in for a pit stop. There he is in the old Milwaukee Pontiac. Let's go down to Dick Berggren.
The reason for the pit stop was they thought they had a left rear tire going down, so they changed the tires on the left side. The sad part about it is, of course, Richmond now out of third position.
But he's standing on the gas and still moving quite well down Long Pond straightaway. The car up very close to that boilerplate plate wall down Long Pond straightaway. Tim Richmond drops from third back to sixth spot.
Yeah, Bob, that stop won't hurt him as long as the rest of the people don't have an opportunity to stop under a yellow, because most of them are going to have to stop anyway, so Tim doesn't really need to feel too much extra pressure. That was a stop that would have had to have been made by lap 190 anyway, and it just puts him a little bit behind the rest of the people right now, but he'll...
I don't know if you noticed this, but the cameras zoom in pretty good, but they have a tendency for when they zoom in more to want to shoot upwards. I don't know if you noticed that.
Not really.
Some of the time the camera seems like some of them go up. Like they're trying to go up instead of staying in the same spot.
That frame.
Crosses the line. There is a 6-second interval between Bill Elliott in second and Cale Yarborough running in third spot. Fourth, still Harry Gant, and fifth now.
Oh, yeah, really close to him that time.
We have passed the 425-mile mark of this race. We're coming down.
Well, Bonnie's trying to hold on the best he can.
33 of the original 39 starters. Giacomo never got out onto the racetrack in his televideo computer special, but
they're saying Jocko didn't even go on the track.
Interesting.
I'm surprised that wasn't mentioned until now.
If that were today, they would bring that up.
Yeah, for sure.
Bobby Gerhart Jr. and Sterling Marlin, who had a great race up to that point, Bob.
So just a little bit
but Sterling Marlin's out of the race, I think is what they said.
The checkered flag will fall. It's still anybody's race. Come back with us when we return.
Way to go.
Pocono, Pennsylvania.
TW's in fifth.
Gary Newber and Dick Berggren, live and in stereo from Pocono International Raceway, the 14th stop on the National Tour for 1984. And with less than 20 laps to go. It is a battle between Terry Labonte and Bill Elliott. Now Elliott in the red number 9. Coors Melling Ford. Looked like for a moment he was going to try Terry Labonte on the inside, but not this time. Labonte still running in the lead. Dale Yarborough was third, then Gary Gant, Darrell Waltrip, and Tim Richmond. A lap down in 6th spot, make that 7th position, is Dale Earnhardt. 8th is Bobby Allison.
I think that's the lowest I've seen Earnhardt all race was 7th.
11th is Kyle Petty, and then Richard Petty in number 43.
You know, Bob, I doubt that most of the people in attendance here, and it's numbered to be around 95,000, have the same information that's available to us, that we believe Allison is going to go the distance in this race while these guys have to pit. They're going to go crazy when they start seeing these top 5, 6 cars on the lead lap pit. And it's all going to come down, as we mentioned to you, probably within the last 10 laps of the race. What's going to be interesting, Bob, is to see if one of these guys risk it. Somebody may risk victory. If
risk it for the biscuit.
Got an outside chance, they may try to stay out there and throw away.
Mike, if you were a driver in this situation, what would you do? Would you go for it or save?
I think I would wait a little bit and then save, because Bill Elliott seems to be keeping up with him quite well.
Personally, I'd save fuel, because it's hard to go 50 laps or so without pitting.
Save a bit and then go for it.
Darrell, of course, a Winston Cup champion, who lost the championship in the final race last year to Bobby Allison, but Waltrip this year is back on top.
And here he comes. See, well, Waltrip decided not to save. He's coming in.
Well, he knows he's not going to get up there, I don't think.
Well, if everyone else pits, then he's doomed.
Well, this thing was absolutely prepared. They've been ready for Darrell Waltrip to come in now for the last several laps. Oh, look at the big hole in the windshield. We were talking earlier about debris coming up.
Yeah, I saw something, like, it looked like a hole earlier, but I didn't realize it was that big.
Right. God.
Bruh. That's near the driver's head, too.
Because you see, if Waltrip goes out now, then if everybody else has to pit later for fuel, Waltrip will have the advantage. He'll be at the front of that line. So a little strategy going on here, and a lightning stop at 16:02 for Darrell Waltrip.
Very good point, Dick. We've 17.
Nowadays, the lightning stop would be considered like 9 or 8 seconds.
Now, as the leaders cross the start-finish line, Darrell is able to get out and stay on the same lap, although he's...
well, he's still pretty far back.
Running at full speed through turn number 1.
So Waltrip joins Tim Richmond.
Elliott's been all over Labonte, but he just hasn't passed him for some reason. Maybe because of the air. He's trying to use him for air, drafting-wise, but he's not wanting to get out in front. I don't know why. I'm confused by this, because I think Elliott could have tried passing him multiple times already.
Let's go back down to Dick Berggren.
Well, what looked like strategy is really right there. That's a cut in this tire. You can just...
Oh, he had a cut.
Apparently it lost just enough there. Darrell Waltrip decided, better come in and change this one. There it is.
And the cars out of the race. Jerry Bowman and
Buddy Baker's out. DK's
out. Accident. Jeff Bodine, DK Ulrich, Buddy Baker.
That Ronnie guy you were talking about is not out.
Gerhardt also out of this contest.
Yeah, I said, well, Ronnie Thomas, but yeah, Ronnie, I thought he was out of the race, because I haven't seen I haven't seen him hardly at all in this race, but I have seen him in the race. It's been a while. I thought he was out. I wasn't sure. Glad they showed that. Oh, here he goes. Battling for the lead here, Elliott and Labonte.
There's Elliott and Labonte door to door, wheel to wheel, hub to hub, just like a Saturday night race in almost any small
15 to go, and it looked like Elliott was going to take the lead there, but Labonte held him up. Mike, what's that noise in the background? It's like a screech. He goes, ah.
No idea.
Yeah, me either.
Well, you had to think that Bill Elliott was going to try Terry Labonte soon. We're down now to 14 laps to go, and Bill Elliott tried to pass him.
Coming down to the wire,
Turn
boy.
number 2 couldn't get the job done, but I'm sure he'll be trying again in the next few laps. We'll be back with more from Pocono, Pennsylvania. Back at Pocono with 187 laps completed.
13, that'll be 12 to
to
go.
run first and second.
Oh, here he goes. Got a look on the inside.
Terry Labonte. They step on the accelerator and come down past the main grandstand.
Isn't it a mirror? They're going faster
the
than they were.
Labonte, a slower car up front.
That
Labonte
looked
will
about
have
they're
to
going the same speed,
take to
maybe
the
a
high
little
side,
bit
and
faster.
So will Bill Elliott. And they go into
Bill.
turn number 1, single file.
Awesome Bill from Dawsonville.
Suspense, however, continues to build. This is really nothing more
The
than a
better
sideshow.
Elliott.
Prelude in the last 10 laps. Where
Then
those
again,
guys are on the
triggers and
racetrack
chase Elliott
right
fans.
now, I believe means nothing. I think they're both going to have to stop.
That
The pit
they
crews
would be
have
like,
one
"Whoa,
bet
what do you mean?"
on the end of the race, at least for the fortune
It
of
was kind of
Labonte
funny
and
earlier we were
Elliott,
talking
what
about
they
it, and
do
now
on the
RJ
track
Rogers
right
was
now.
going to find Mike and dox him.
We will wait and
Nah,
see. Bill
you
Elliott way
wouldn't
up
do
high
that.
on the racetrack in turn number 2. Had to get out of
I
the
would
throttle
beat
and hit the
RJ
brakes a
Rogers
little bit more.
tweet.
So
Bruh, I mean, I wouldn't allow it, okay? I wouldn't do. I mean, RJ definitely was can be annoying, but I don't think he's a bad person. But anyways, here comes. Is that Elliott? Looks like Elliott's coming in.
The second place car is coming in for a full load of fuel. Here he comes.
We don't condone violence, but this is about to be a violent shoving of the gas into the tank here, and they're in and out.
It's not a load. They're taking as little as they think they can get away with.
Out he goes onto the track and back in competition. Now we'll wait and see if Terry Labonte does the same thing. There will be 10 laps to go when the leader crosses the
Right now,
start
Elliott's
line
looking
next
pretty
time.
good, man.
Right now,
If everyone
Terry
else
Labonte
pits, he may be in front.
is in the tunnel turn, number 2.
You gotta hope everybody else pits.
Well, Bob, here are some questions. Did he get enough gas? He's got to go 11 laps or about 27, 28 miles. I do
28
not know
miles.
where Allison is right now. If he got out ahead of Allison and Gant, certainly he did ahead of Allison because Allison's a lap down. We'll watch the next time around. We'll see where Harry Gant is.
Oh, he didn't go. He didn't come in that time.
Bill Elliott. Labonte continues to stay out, and the suspense and the complications of it continue to grow. It's great.
11 laps to go. Now Terry Labonte is running all by
10 to
himself.
go.
We've got 10 laps to go. Labonte running all by himself in the lead.
I think Terry Labonte has it unless he hits.
Because Terry needs fuel to complete the race. And we expect to stop anytime. He's in turn number 2.
It's like they said it like he was being scheduled to pit. They're like, we expect him to pit anytime.
Enter the last 10 laps at Pocono.
Yeah, because they don't realize how much fuel he actually has. Uh-oh, looks like it might happen.
Yeah, it didn't look like he had that much, but right now, 9 to go, he still hasn't came in. Yarborough's still out. So Waltrip pitted already, and he's in 5th.
Here he is in turn number 3. Will he slow and
Yep, here he comes.
Yes, it looks like the Labonte is indeed coming in for the stop. This will
Wow.
be his. Let's go down to Dick Berggren.
Oh, they have ready for this. They've been
Wow.
about it for about the last
Wowzers.
10 laps. They have one can ready.
Tell Yarborough to have this.
It's going to be fast, very fast. They even have a man with a watch on it. There they go, 4 men pushing it.
Wow, he about fell to push that. They were really trying to get in and out. That was faster than Elliott's, I think. 3 seconds.
Unsung heroes of an auto race.
They didn't show how fast Elliott's was, though, I don't think, unless I missed it.
No, they didn't. And there's Elliott right there, so he did get out before Elliott did.
And he beat Bill Elliott. Labonte got back out in the speedway, and he has a substantial lead, at least at this
Yeah,
point,
he does.
over Elliott. He must be
Yarborough over Labonte's gonna win.
Yeah, unless they, well, Yarborough and Gann have been saving. Allison's been saving. Earnhart hasn't came in yet. So if any of those guys come in or run out, then it'll either be Labonte or Elliott.
Harry Gant right now appears to be, if you will excuse the pun, in the driver's seat. There is Kim Yarborough down the straightaway in the lead with 7, make that 8 laps to go.
One of the other questions, of course, becomes how far is Harry ahead of Terry Labonte? The answer to that is about 7 seconds, and ahead of Elliott about 9 seconds. So Gant, if he does not have to stop again, really looks to be in good position. Now you turn your attention to Yarborough, the guy on the screen right there. No, he has never shown.
Yarborough did have a really fast car throughout most of this race.
Laps, which is what he would have had to have done to go this distance without stopping. So Yarborough is now gone 193 laps in this race. It seems to us he's got about 3 laps before he has to bring her in.
Oh, Allison got by Gant.
Running behind Bobby Allison, but Allison is a lap down.
No, he's not. Allison did not fall a lap down. What are you talking about?
We continue to watch for.
Remember how they said he was a lap down earlier and they realized he wasn't?
Come into the pit.
Yeah, I didn't see Allison get lapped.
Wouldn't that be the big surprise?
Not either. He's
Look at
been
the brain trust behind
for most of the race.
Those guys are just sitting there. They're not preparing for a pit stop at all.
Very good point, Bob. If they were worried at all, you'd think there'd be some scurrying around or running back and forth, checking charts, what have you. Now you begin to wonder about Yarborough. You know, he's won a lot of races in a lot of ways. Is it possible they're ready to pull a rabbit out of that orange and white number 28 hat?
A rabbit?
He's only got 6 laps to go.
Well, check your statistics there, Larry, and find out how long ago Cale Yarborough pitted. Information is that he pitted only a lap before Gant, so he could conceivably have the fuel to go the distance.
Well, he stopped 1 lap before Harry, but he's
Yarborough is like 10 seconds ahead of Allison and Gant.
There is Cale Yarborough, the leader. He just went out of your screen on the left-hand side, and we're looking for the second-place car. There he is, the green.
Maybe even less than 10.
Of Harry Gant.
There's Ron Bouchard, who had such a good race earlier. He's now getting lapped.
He's 1 lap down for both Yarborough and Gant.
Well, the drama continues to unfold here.
We're about 5 to go, I think.
Remain, really. We've answered a lot of them, but still a lot remain. Can Cale Yarborough go the distance? We believe that Harry
Can he?
Yarborough
Ooh,
is
this is
in
going to
the
be
lead,
close.
and we'll have less now than 5 laps to go. Yarborough entering the tunnel turn.
The great
number 2.
debate.
You know, Bob, with the goals of this racing team and what their intent is, and that is not to become season champions, I get a feeling that they don't have any choice.
We got a feeling that it's going to be a good night.
And in this situation, with just a
Little bit of a throwback there.
he cannot afford to stop and assume that he'll get back out on the racetrack ahead of Gant. We may see Yarborough think that
4 to
if they
go.
run out of fuel, they're going to take it to the
Considering how long this race is, like 200 laps, I feel like this went by really quick. Or am I tripping?
No intentions of coming in for a pit stop.
Mike,
He continues
Yeah,
to
for real.
be the leader here at Pocono.
Are you
in a
falling
race
asleep?
that has been
No, I'm
a safe
trying to
race,
set an
and it has
alarm for
seen
tomorrow.
a tremendous amount
understood.
of competition.
There is activity in the Yarborough pit.
Yeah, I'm getting
These
pretty
two
tired
crew members
myself.
Over the wall. They may be planning on bringing him in. I'd have to eat a little bit of crow. I figured they'd stay out there no matter what. But there is some activity in the Yarborough pit.
activity.
2 weekends in a row, we see the race go down to the final 2 laps. Yarborough now on the North Straightaway. There is Waddell Wilson and the Cale Yarborough crew members. As you indicated, Larry, a couple of them standing over the wall. Are they preparing for a stop by Cale? Not this time. Yarborough is still at high speed, swinging off of turn number 3 and down the straightaway, completing lap number 197. 3 laps to go.
Wow, 3 to go.
Meanwhile, down in the Hal Needham, Burt Reynolds area pit, the Harry Gant team, Travis Carter and crew, there's their fuel refiller. Doesn't look to me like they're too worried.
Yeah, it doesn't look like Gant or any of them are coming in. They're risking it.
There is Harry. Off of turn number 1 and down the Long Pond straightaway. Running ahead of him is Cale Yarborough. And as Cale comes around turn number 3 and crosses the start-finish line, he will have only 2 more laps to go. 5 miles to the finish.
Well, Bob, this may not be as exciting as a side-by-side finish or as 4 cars rocketing around a high-bank super speedway in a draft, but believe me, this is...
Looks like Allison and Gant gained on Yarborough.
Nobody really knows what the other guy can do. You just saw Yarborough. He has a nice, healthy margin over Gant. Gant has no way of catching him. There's Harry Gant.
Why are racing Gann. Allison's in second. Gann's third.
7 or 8 seconds difference between the leader, Cale Yarborough, and Harry Gann, and Yarborough continues to stay out on the racetrack. I'll tell you, I really think they're going to have a hard time holding Cale in.
Well, I'm sure they will now with less than 2 laps to go. Harry Gann is not worried at all about
Where is he at?
in front of him because he can't catch Cale Yarborough unless Yarborough runs out of fuel. Cale now is at
Here he comes, final lap and a half.
Setting the car up for turn number 2, the tunnel turn.
He's looking for a white flag this time around. Yarborough hangs out there. He can get out of the throttle a little bit, Bob. He's got an idea as to how far behind Harry Gann is. So he perhaps can get out of the throttle for maybe a third of a lap.
I'm surprised Yarborough's even made it this far. On gas.
No way, Cale's going to come in now. He's looking for a white flag this time.
One to go. Here we come. Can he make it?
Looks like you can.
In the infield are pressed against the fence, watching the final lap.
Everyone's on their feet.
And now has less than 2.5 miles to go, and he'll win the Vanskoy Diamond Mines 500. He's into turn number 1. Will the fuel hold for Cale Yarborough? Into turn number 1 now. Exiting it. Standing
It
on
looks
the
like he
throttle,
may
but
get it.
perhaps not standing on it all the way, conserving
Maybe.
those precious drops of fuel. As he goes down the 3,055-foot straightaway they call Long Pond straightaway. Meanwhile, in the pits, the crew members can only talk among themselves and wonder whether he does indeed have the gas to go the distance.
One more straight and corner.
Turn number 2 and down the north straightaway for the final time.
You can see Waddell on the last shot just throw his hands up at hip level and say, I don't know, let's go for it.
It's going to be a third turn win if Harry
Yeah.
Gann does it. I
Think
think
so.
so.
Yarborough ends up getting it. What a race by him. He had a really strong car all race long and then saves fuel and wins it.
Definitely had the fastest car, and I just think he deserved it. Beautiful race by him.
Actually, they said Gann finished second, Labonte third, but we'll look at the race reference and see that it's...
I love how they snake in the restarts.
Yeah.
You really couldn't... I mean, yes, we all realized Yarborough had the car beat toward the end, but right at the beginning of the race, you didn't know who was going to win. I mean, nobody was really pulling away too far. I really liked it. It was the kind of racing I enjoy, that side-by-side, constant battles.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely agree with you. Real quick, so I pulled it up on Racing Reference. They said the crowd was 95,000. It was actually 56,000. Three cautions, 33 lead changes. The time of race was 3 hours, 37 minutes. The average speed was 138, so it did go up. Yarborough led the most laps with 64. Labonte led 44, finished third. So they did score Allison a lap down, which doesn't make any sense because I didn't see him get lapped. But regardless, Allison ended up finishing 7th, 1 lap down. Earnhardt finished 8th, a lap down. Benny Parsons 9th, Lakespeed 10th. Richard Petty was last car, 1 lap down at 13th. And Neil Bonnet, which was actually Dave Pearson, finished 14th. Billy was 4th, Harry Gann 2nd, Labonte 3rd. As I mentioned, Tim Richmond got 5th, Darrell Walter got 6th. Dale Earnhardt also led 34 laps. Elliott led 17, Gann led 14. Richard Petty led 11. Neil Bonnet led 3. Jeff Bodine actually led 4 laps. I didn't even notice it was in the lead. Let's look down. Ronnie Thomas finished 24th, 8 laps down. Ricky Rudd finished 3 laps down, 18th. Rusty Wallace finished 17th, minus 3. The 17 car, Clark Dwyer, who spun out twice, or at 2 incidents, he finished 25th, 11 laps down. Yeah, it pretty much does it. There was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cars that didn't finish. So, wow. And then after the race, of course, well, Darrell Waltrip and Labonte were tied for the points lead after this race. So, yeah, that's going to do it. Man, that was a really fun race. Definitely one of the best Pocono races I've watched. I want to give this one a solid 9 out of 10. What about you, Mike?
I agree, 9 out of 10.
And I'm sure you really enjoyed this Pocono compared to the recent or the 2000s Pocono, 2010s.
Yeah, compared to today.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, thank you to everyone who tuned in. Of course, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to this video. Make sure to follow us down below. Thank you, Mike, of course, for joining me in this reaction. I really enjoyed it. And until next time, we are